to the Split Line Off-Road Podcast.
Are you ready to go GNCC racing? Fans running to the fences, side by side. Borge gets a better line.
Oh boy, we got wheel to wheel right here, string. Oh, and Stu Baylor right behind him.
Russell gonna try to dive bomb down to the inside. No, can't get the line he wants. Duval is in control. We open back up. Here comes Neal once again. He's going for the pass. Oh, the bumping going on.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Split Line Off-Road Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rodney Cooper, and with me today, as always,
Brandon White here, guys. What is up? It's going to be a lit one tonight.
we got an awesome show lined up for you guys. Episode 076 coming at you. We got some awesome guests coming in the house. We got Luke Nesler here with us today. What's up, buddy? How
What's
are you?
up, man? Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man. We got Mikey Waynes coming on the show, and we got Ashley Hendershot coming on the show, talk a little bit eMTB racing, and then talk to Mike about whatever Mikey wants to talk about.
Everything that's blown up in the GNCC world right now.
It is wild right now. There's a lot of stuff going on that we need to talk about. But before we get into it, we got to thank our awesome sponsors. First of all, we got to thank Guts Racing. Since 1985, they've been in the business of making the best seat covers, the best seat foams, the best seat technology in the game. When it comes to looks, performance, style, there's no match.
Nope.
No match at all. And we just gave one away last week for our fantasy. We're going to be giving away a couple extra prizes this week for the fantasy. So if you guys don't have your teams in yet, you guys might want to get on that. We also got to thank Seal Savers, Mason Mill over at Seal Savers. They've been in the business for 21 years. Fork protection, coil protection, let's see, side-by-side, mountain bike. Mountain bike stuff. That's right. Mason is a great guy. You can save 25% by using the Split Line discount code capital S and Split Line, 25% off their already affordable products. So make sure you guys check that out. We also need to thank Sunstar Chain and Sprockets. Brandon, what are those things made of?
Case hardened steel, baby.
The best material in the business. They are the top of the line sprockets and chains, and you guys can get them for 30% off using the discount code SPLITLINE30.
Or you can win. You have two chances this week with our fantasy.
Two chances. Two people are going to win a Sunstar chain and sprocket kit for their bike or their ATV. So all they got to do is be the top dirt bike team or the top ATV team. And if you're the both teams,
do you win both? I don't know.
Do you win both? We might not do that. I don't know.
Did you say 30% off?
30% off.
I mean, that's like a full-on sponsored discount.
It really
That's a lot of money off. That's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So
I love our sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good deal. And then XC Gear. We're also going to be giving a Mako 360 away this weekend that you can put on your ATV or your dirt bike. Now, I don't know about you, Brandon, but I don't like a lot of vibration in the bars.
I don't like it at all. I that's one thing I hate. You know what? It causes arm pump.
It does cause arm pump. And I tell you what, like when it comes to bar clamps, they're great looks and top of the line quality. They are the best in the business when it comes to making the Mako 360s and for the mountain bikes, the Hammerhead 360. That's a pretty sweet looking piece right there.
Got some vibration down the bars on your eMTB, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but this weekend we're going to be giving away that, and you don't even have to be good at the game to win that one. All you got to do is enter, and it's a random drawing, and we're gonna choose a winner to win the Mako 360. We also got to thank Mountain State Hair Scrambles, top of the line hair scrambles in West Virginia. You guys got to check them out. They put a sweet show on every weekend. They have great tracks, tight technical tracks to test your riding skill. Dirt bikes run on Saturdays, ATVs run on Sundays. They just got done racing this weekend. It was a good race from what I heard. So, you guys got to check those out. But so that's it, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
That's all. What have you been into, buddy?
No, not much. We went to Fast Tracks over the weekend, did some racing. Colton did really good. He had a hard fought fourth place, but he had third, man. Had third wrapped up, Luke, and went down in a corner on the last lap, and third place got by him, and he couldn't get back up fast enough. But happy with him. He was awesome. It was a good day. I ended up, I think I took 8th in B class and 5th in plus 30. Had a little.
Did you
accident.
take the ATV this time?
No, ATV still broke. I think it's a stator.
You got that thing fixed?
I mean, the way gas prices are going, I doubt it.
There's a 9-hour race coming up out here.
There is.
You race ATVs and dirt bikes.
I do it all, man. I do it all.
He's
man.
like he's like the I'm trying to think of a reference right now, but I can't think of it. Just like the guy that does all sports. He's like the
Iron Man.
Iron Man, I guess. So.
Yeah, the last time I was at Fast Tracks, I actually raced at 11. And then raced at 1:30 on my dirt bike, and then at 4 o'clock I raced my quad. All on the same day. Yeah,
that's why I just race e-bikes.
Hey, that's enough right there. You're the motor yourself.
I keep trying to figure it out. I'm like, man, I wonder if I could do like quads on Saturday, e-bike, do an eMTB bike race on Saturday evening, and then run dirt bike on Sunday at GNCC. I don't know if I can make it, but
that'd be a tough ask. That'd be a tough ask. Okay, I want to give it a shout out to Doug Kirk. He used his Hammerhead this weekend on his mountain bike that he got, and he said it's pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited to check one of those out for sure. I've not personally ran a Hammerhead yet before, but I'm sure they're pretty sweet. Has anybody run them in the eMTB series yet?
No, but I'm interested in those. That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
we need to get with Lance.
Yeah,
check him out.
Yeah, we will.
Lance at XC Gear, that's for sure. Devin Masters, what's up, dude? We appreciate you joining us. We're gonna have to get him back in studio here pretty soon. The local legend of Devin Masters.
Yeah.
So. Any news in the Supercross, motocross world we need to talk about?
There's a lot of big news. I think Mookie hurt himself on purpose, so he'd have to run outdoors. I'm just joking, guys. I'm joking. No, Mookie, I guess, came out late last night, around 11 o'clock, I think. Mookie is down. I'm not sure what happened to him. But RJ Hampshire is stepping up into the 450 role for Husky, along with Shane McElrath as well. Tomac, you heard about Tomac. Dungy, everybody heard about Dungy. Anything else?
No.
Joey Savacci on the Cali.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see outdoors come along. I'm excited to see the 222 out here, West Racing. I'm excied to see Dungy back. I know you're a big motocross fan. What are you looking forward to seeing?
The same. I think it's going to be cool to see those guys. And Racer X put a video out this past week about the stopwatch nationals, all the guys out, and Tomac was in the video.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised by that because, I wasn't sure if he would even get on the bike until maybe the week of the first national. But if he looked good. I'll be curious to see what happens with Dungy. He was on pulp and obviously, and he confirmed he's not coming out if he doesn't think he can win. But
right.
I think they said he's been off 5 or 6 years. I just don't see how that's humanly. And he's never been aggressive anyways. He's just Mr. Consistency. So I don't know, man. I hope they get to the races that are closer to us because nobody's going to be out west to see him. It'll be great if he's at High Point.
Yeah.
If he makes it to High Point, he's doing the whole series.
That's round 3, right? High Point's round 3?
Round 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Thunder Valley is round 3.
Okay.
I would say if they get to Thunder Valley, they're probably him and Antonio probably do the whole series.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim McIntyre, thanks for joining us, man. I saw a picture of you down in a mud hole this weekend helping some guys out at the Mount St. Harris Scramble. So that's pretty cool. I know exactly where that mud hole is. I got stuck there a couple of years ago as well. But at the Mount. Before we get off the topic of Mount State Hair Scrambles, I want to give a shout out to our buddy Liam Draper. He took the overall at dirt bikes, and then Adam McGill. I'm pretty sure he's won every single Mountain State so far this year. So
taking that easy money.
Yeah, he's going in there to collect the cash. That's for sure. Oh, and speaking of Mount State Hair Scrambles, I want to let you guys know that we are now doing a co-sponsorship. We are sponsoring the Mount State Hair Scramble series. So look for our logo to be up on their banners. You're also going to be able to get our T-shirts at their merchandise table. So that's pretty exciting. We're pretty excited about that. So make sure you guys, I don't know if we're going to have the T-shirts in time for their next round, but we will let you guys know when our T-shirts are there. So make sure you guys check that out.
If you didn't catch our Instagram, we have a little bit of a new design, not really like a whole new design, but kind of somewhat a new design.
Yeah, every time we make a T-shirt, we just make a new design.
They look good. Whatever you have on now, it's subtle, but I like it's clean. It's good. My business partner is a graphic designer. He'd appreciate that.
Well, we're going to send you home with one before you leave today. Yeah,
thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So Luke, tell us about your season so far, your team season. We talked to you right before you guys took off this year.
Yeah,
and wanted to see how you guys are doing.
Yeah. Man, the team season overall is everybody's doing well. There's a bunch of new classes. Ashley's going to come on here a little bit and talk about the WXC. It's the first year have a pro ladies class. Ashley, there's 3 rounds and 3 different winners. Ashley won the last round. She's been the consistent one in that class through the first 3, so she's leading the points, which is awesome. Everybody's doing really well. Our 2 national champions from last year are leading the points in their classes so far this year. Cooper Kneff, he's probably the fastest guy on our team, and he's one of the fastest guys in the field. He gets tops. I think he was 6th overall last time, and he's 13 years old. That's crazy. Well, no, I might be wrong. He's 13, 14. He thinks he's 25, but man, he's a rocket ship. He didn't lose it all last year. He hasn't lost yet this year, so it's been good. My season, we could just skip right over that so far. So I came up with I mean, if you're watching on Facebook, you can see I'm a bigger dude, right? So I was like, you know what? I need to push the Coombs family hard to get a heavyweight class. In the mountain biking world, they call it the Clydesdale class. I think that sounds lame. So I pitched this idea of let's have what's called a big bore class.
By the way, the naming brand on point. That is the coolest name.
I got that part right. Where I messed up was I said, all right, over 200 pounds and we're good. I walk around about, depending on time of the year, 260, 250, right? I might not look quite that big, but I am that big. And I'm like, 200 pounds will be good. Man, some of these dudes showing up that are 200 pounds.
Washboard abs.
Oh, man, there's guys in the big bore class that are getting top 10 overall. And me and my buddy, Dave Kneff, who's on the team as well. He's a bigger man. We thought we'd get on the podium. Last race, I didn't finish. He got next to last. So we're just having fun. Oh, yeah. It's the big bore class is not full of fat, slow guys. I'll put it that way. I messed up. I should have made it 250 plus.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's cool though to see, we joke around, but to see the sport growing to where you're adding classes in general and having the ability to pitch something like that and for the Coops family to be able to go to it. And the eMTB series has just grown so much. And it's so cool that, it's getting the attention of a lot of people, and they even have their own highlight video now. It's not linked in with the ATV video. Yeah. So I think it's a growing sport, and it's growing really fast.
It is. It's growing quick. And I just told you guys, I think Paul Parabinos from Renthal is going to come out for snowshoe, and we're going to get him taken care of with a bike and whatnot. I mean, he's coming out from California, and he's doing some other things while he's there, but he's most excited about the e-bike race, which is cool. And it's bringing legitimate cyclists from Florida that are coming up and doing the whole series. So it's good. I hope that it's there to stay. I know they had the side-by-sides, and that kind of came and went. And I know a lot of it was just, I mean, you're talking about racing, race cars through the woods, and logistically it didn't work. Hopefully this series continues to grow, and they've got something pretty cool.
Well, I think with the side-by-side situation, a lot of that boiled down to danger. Yeah. As well as I do, the GNCC crowd likes to get really close to the action.
I don't want to be near one of those things.
It's bad enough when a bike or an ATV runs into somebody, let alone a machine that's basically the size of a Volkswagen.
That'd be like getting hit by me in the big bore class.
That's awesome.
Going into our next subject, we're gonna have Ashley come on the show. It's cool that they've had a pro women's class come up, and now, what was she racing before she went to because she was racing last year, correct?
She was, yeah. She was just before the WXC, it was just women's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they kept it with just one class for the girls because they didn't want to create too many classes and not have enough people in it. Mm-hmm. it's borderline there now. There's been, I think, 3 pro women at each one of the races. And if we would have done it any earlier than now, they wouldn't have had enough.
Right.
Now, those 3 women that are in that pro class need to be in that pro class.
Right.
So she raced pro women's 2019. She took the title. She raced 2020, 2021. And then we finally got the Coombs family to add that pro class on. And she's grown as a rider. 2019 was her first year racing. And before that, I think, and we can ask her, I think she just supported her husband who races quads.
Right.
So she's grown as the sport's grown, which is kind of cool to see. And now she's going to Worlds this year. I think it's in Italy. Last year it was in France. I might have it backwards. But yeah, she's doing really good. And all the ladies that are in that pro class are way faster than me.
Hey,
man, women, those girls, dude, they haul.
I've raced in the eMTB race, and I think I would have finished maybe 10th overall out of 9. Out of 9 women up there. So there's no slouching. There's no shame. There's no shame in the game at all. So you're being at the races all day Saturday. I'm assuming you're there on some Sundays. What do you think of the battles that we've had in the ATV class this year? I mean, it's a 2-rider battle up front, and then over on the dirt bike side, a lot of chaos this year.
Yeah. Man, the battles have been interesting. I don't watch them live on Saturday because we're getting ready, but I always go back and I'll watch the replay on Racer TV or catch the highlights or watch them come through the pits or whatever. And I have a lot of respect for Walker Fowler. I'm ready to see somebody step up, more than one guy step up and challenge him. And I think that's starting to happen this year. And then, man, on the bikes, like I was talking to you guys before, it's like you guys just want to go straight, throw on some gear, and we probably could get like top 5 overall because everybody's just getting hurt. It's insane. And honestly, I don't know. It probably has something that is similar to do with why everybody gets hurt in Supercross now. It's the bikes are getting faster. The guys are getting faster.
I think that's a big thing. It's fitness, man. These guys are pushing the limits.
It's insane. I mean, these guys put content on social media now, so you can see guys like Stu was putting some stuff out about, just tips and techniques on how he goes through these trees. And it is insane.
Yeah.
And they're doing it at speed.
Right.
And I think that's just going to come with the territory as the sport progresses, these types of injuries.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people on this show. We've had Thad on, we've had Stu on, Ricky Russell, all these guys. Yeah. And everybody kind of says a lot of the same things that you just said. And it just seems like, traffic is another thing. A lot of guys are running that afternoon class, whether they want to or not. It seems like some of them are being pushed out of the morning, pointing out of the morning classes and going into the afternoon classes. Another thing is that I think is now that we have the e-bikes in the GNCC world, it allows the guys to be able to ride the track almost more than they're actually racing it. Yeah. So they're becoming so familiar with these tracks that it makes it to where like it's almost like a motocross or a supercross where they know every rut or every turn. Yeah. You talk about Stu, he was talking about like he memorizes the scenery, or like when I see this particular tree that looks weird, I know that I'm going to be taking a line to the left here and like 30 yards. So these guys have it dialed.
One of them was telling us that they would show up Thursday evening or Friday just to mountain bike the tracks. Like they were showing up early, right?
I think they've gotten rid of the Friday mountain biking, I believe, of the track. I could be wrong, but I think Liam said that they couldn't.
Maybe that's what it is then. Yeah, I think they finally got rid of the Friday mountain. That's who it was.
Yeah. So they're not able to pre-ride.
They're not able to ride on Friday.
Yeah. But Saturday they can ride as much as they want, and then Sunday morning they can ride.
A lot of the guys were saying that they'd be cool with if they would limit it to, you can only ride on, let's say, Sunday morning, or you can only ride for a certain time period on Saturday, something to where they're just not able to memorize these tracks. And let's be honest, these guys have been going to the same facilities since they were kids. So a lot of these places that, even if they don't ride them, they have them pretty well known where they're going. Yeah. A lot,
I think the sport is getting the same thing that happened in motocross, supercross, where you have these facilities. Yeah. Again, the moto guy is turning more into an athlete, and that's been happening for a while in motocross, but I think it's really starting to get to that point in GNCC. And again, the speeds are faster, and you make a good point. The e-bike, they're probably more refreshed than they were 3, 4, 4 or 5 years ago when you had to have been gassed. If you rode a regular bike around those courses, I can't. Now they're doing multiple laps. It's insane.
We tried to ride a regular mountain bike around the track one time, and that was enough for us.
Crazy. Yeah, it's interesting to see. It's been a wild year for sure.
Yeah, it for sure has. So we're going to get Ashley on the show here in a minute, but before we do that, I want to let you guys know that we are having the listener questions tonight. We have a few that you guys submitted via Instagram or Facebook that I'll be reading. If you guys want to get in on that, listener questions, best question wins a set of Seal Savers for their mountain or for their dirt bike or their ATV. So you notice how I said best question. I didn't say most intelligent question.
Right. Just the best question.
Or it could be the funniest question.
The funniest question.
Just hit
the stupidest question.
Hit us up in the comments with a question, or shoot it over, message it to us, or our Instagram. We'll try to get all of them in. We're going to hit that up. Mikey will be on when we have that on, so it could be for Mike Waynes.
Right. And another thing, guys, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we're going to touch on this probably when Mikey comes on the show. Breaking news, if you haven't heard, Ben Kelly and Stu Baylor both getting hurt over the weekend.
Yes.
So we're going to get into that more here in a little bit, just to give you a little cliffhanger.
Yeah, Matt, that might be the big news that you're asking about. But yeah, that's the big news. We're going to be talking about that, kind of really going in depth with that with Mikey Waynes when he comes on. That's such a bummer. It is. It really is a bummer for the whole season. It seems like more than half the top 10 guys have been out this year. So
I know who's licking their lips. Jordan Ashburn and Trevor Bollinger.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later in the show for sure, because I've been doing a little bit of math and Craig
DeLong's going, my rookie year could be the championship year.
That's insane to think about. That's wild.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So you guys go ahead and talk a little bit so we don't have dead air time while I'm dialing.
See, this is where we need to put time in commercials.
We can we'll figure something to talk about. So you're doing bikes and quads.
I'll do it. Yeah.
So when you're at a GNCC, what's
he's never raced a GNCC
I've never raced yet.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
I haven't had time.
Right. I hear you.
No, listen, we're going to John Penton. I was going to race to John Penton this coming weekend, but my wife works on Sunday. But I am going to race the
High Point
race. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Yep. What are you going to race?
The dirt bike.
The dirt bike.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
I might be racing the High Point race as well this year.
All right.
Might be
eMTB. We're gonna set that up. We're gonna have a guest rider.
Do you have like one of those like
training wheels?
No, like one of those like really tight suits.
Light suits. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got something for him?
Yeah, we'll
really,
get him taken care of.
Snug one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If we lock that in, we'll get a custom one ordered in time for it to show up. Now they come from China, so it takes a little bit of time to get here.
It's gonna have the vid with it, right?
That's right.
Just that.
Yeah, just that.
Just the onesie.
And you need like some like boots. You don't get like shoes. You get like boots with that.
Well, I at least got to be able to be competitive, right? Hey, Walker. Yes, we intend on bringing you and our buddy Vincent on before the High Point show.
Yeah.
So be ready for that. I don't remember what week that is.
Father's Day weekend, June 17th. So
are you going to be in town? You might be out of town, right?
I am leaving that Friday. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Also, you'll be here Wednesday, though.
Yes, I will be here Wednesday.
Okay.
Yep.
So
we're good.
All right. So let's go ahead and
kick me out.
I see. I understand.
Well, I'm going to be going on vacation at some point in time, so Brandon's going to be in this seat.
Oh, okay.
Might have to have Luke come down and guest host.
I can sit in.
They
kick me off my show too, but I'm the only guy that hosted. So.
Yeah, that's another thing we haven't mentioned yet. Moto Marketing. Luke hosts a show. We've talked about it before. Dude, you've had the sickest guest lineups on that show before.
Yeah.
I get kind of jealous when I see like Troy Lee. You have Jerry McGrath on the show.
Yeah.
A guy named Mikey Waynes has been on the show.
Yeah. It's easy to get those people when my opening line is, "Hey, I have a show on Racer X's network."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that always gets them to read it. Or I just have Davey Coombs text them and say, "Hey," or Jason Wygant, "Hey, can you come on the show?" So yeah,
cheat code.
It's a cheat code. It's not because of me.
But you've built the show up so much that now you do have all of that.
Yeah.
And you are a noticeable name on that. Like I know every time that show pops up on my feed on the the Spotify, I'm clicking on.
There's a lot of interesting stories on there.
It really is.
Just how some things get started.
And there's really only one show like it in the moto industry. So I really enjoy.
I
really enjoy listening.
It's been a fun project.
And
for
your studio looks sweet.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it looks super legit.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like plywood and a bear in it.
Hey man, it fits the brand though. I mean, we're talking off road. I like the studio.
We thought about getting some trees in here at some point, just to make it look.
We need to. I don't want to say steal arrows from the race, but like one of the arrows from the trees. It's like where the X's.
I'm sure they gladly give this to you. They print them off at Racer X.
There we go. Just post some on the wall. Yeah. We know a guy.
Yeah.
No, a couple guys. All right, let's go ahead and get Ashley on.
I thought you were doing that while we were talking.
What
do you do?
I dialed the number.
No.
All right.
Jeez.
Guys, listen, what I have to deal with.
Hello.
Ashley?
Hey,
it's Rodney Cooper and Brandon White here from the Split Line Show.
And a guy named Luke Nesler, you might know.
I think you might know him.
What's up, girl? How are you?
Hey, Luke.
So, Ashley, you're the WXC leader, points leader in the eMTB GNCC Racing Series right now. Been having a stellar year so far. Congratulations on your year so far. Your last win, your most recent win is at the Hoosiers. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pumped. Hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So how long have you been into the eMTB series world?
I've done the series all 4 years.
Okay.
So the only race I've missed is the very first one. That first one in Georgia they did. I watched that one. My husband just got back from his deployment, and they kept announcing this mountain bike thing, and I was like, hey, I ride mountain bikes. I want to see what this is. So I went over and watched them start, and we were heading back from Georgia, and I looked at my husband and I was like, hey, can I try mountain bike racing? And it has just spiraled out of control from there.
He probably would have said no if he knew how much these things cost.
Yeah, he probably would have. Although it is still cheaper than his race quads.
Oh yeah.
So
amen to that.
Yeah, we always me and my wife always joke around. She's like, oh, we should get some e-bikes. I'm like, do you know how much of those things cost? And she's like, huh? I'm like, I tell her, she's like, oh no, we're good, we're fine.
So you were into mountain biking prior to the eMTB series that you started 4 years ago. Were you competitive in it, or was it just a hobby?
No, it was just something that my husband did, and I was like, oh, okay, I could try this out. So he's in the military, so he deploys a lot. So another time he was deployed, I was just got with my brother-in-law and said, hey, I want to get a bike. I want to learn about this mountain bike thing he does, so that when he gets back, I can surprise him. And found me a bike. It was a Specialized pitch, which is a hardtail, so no suspension or anything. Hindsight 2020, it was a little rough. And I just took off from there. I would just ride with him. He'd go on rides. Well, I shouldn't say we rode together. He would take off, and I would just kind of, mosey around the trail. And then I think before I started GNCC, I maybe did one race. And then it was just, once I started GNCCs, I just got hooked. It was just so much fun. And since then, I started racing XC as well. So I'll do mountain bikes one weekend, and then some off weekends I'll go race my XC bike as well. So yeah, I kind of just took off with it.
Oh, cool.
Ashley's been a big part of what's grown the female participation in the sport. The first year she raced, I did a couple races that year. Colin, who's on our team, got me into it, and that's where I met her. And there was, some of the races, there was two girls, Ashley and another one. And Ashley has always been really good about, girls will come up young, her age, older, and they'll just ask her questions. But they're maybe intimidated to get started. And Ashley always, just encourages them and motivates them. And then the next year I noticed more girls were getting involved, and Ashley before the race would always like huddle them all up and like get them excited. And then the next year is even more and even more. Now it's its own thing. And Ashley really did play a big role in just people taking notice of her. She won a title. People are like, oh, that's interesting. I can do something cool for myself.
Yeah.
And she doesn't look at her competitors in a competitive manner. She probably wants to kill them while they're out there, but she makes them feel welcome. And it's been a really big part of making the ladies feel comfortable for sure.
Good. Yeah.
So
I mean,
kudos,
that's
Ashley.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think that's important because I mean, just if you look at biking in general, you look across races, obviously, I mean, women participation is always low. And I think just a lot of women get intimidated. But if you look at like the women's only events, I mean, they sell out like crazy. And it's like, oh, how do we transfer that over to racing? And I think a lot of it just goes into, getting them excited and just the encouragement so that they don't feel so afraid.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
Mountain biking is a good, it's not as intimidating as like strap your leg or throw your leg over a 250 dirt bike or 450 ATV. It's a nice middle ground to where you can feel safer and still be able to get the thrill of racing. So I think it's awesome what you guys have been able to do. And you, the cool thing is you've been there minus the very first race since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely been awesome to see it grow. I mean, I've fought for this WXC class every year, but
yes, she has.
And I was like, finally, I was so excited this year. And, we got 3, which is, it's a great starting point, better from where we started, 4 years ago with just 1. But, outside of the WXC line, if you look back at that women's line, I mean, they have a full line every race. So, yeah. I mean, that's growth for the women's class. Women participation right there.
Right.
I think it's the timing of it's perfect too, because she's right. There's a ton of women, and it hasn't been like that before. Last year it got bigger, but this year it's one of the biggest classes. And I think whoever wins that championship this year is going to look to that front row of women's pro class and have something to, look forward to maybe jumping up to in 2023. It's cool. So Ashley's doing the GNCC series, but last year she did the world championship, and then she's striving to get back to that this year. Actually talk a little bit about what that is, because obviously being an off-road show, they might not be familiar with what Worlds is, and I mean it's the world stage. It's like the Olympics that happens every year for mountain biking, and now they have an e-bike class, and she competed in it last year, and you're trying to get back this year too, right?
Yes. I'm hoping in August they'll be in France competing. So
wow.
I mean, last year was definitely like a complete whirlwind. I didn't know what to expect. I tried to have no expectations for myself just because like I didn't know what the heck I was getting into. And Charlie Mullins, I mean, obviously he's been there every year, so he was a great mentor for that, just to kind of help me with where my training needs to be, kind of what terrain's going to look like. And, even just working with him and then just training my butt off, like it was nowhere near what I expected, which, I mean, it was an amazing experience. And for the first time, like you can't replace that experience. But it was crazy. There was 20 women that showed up. So that was exciting because there was growth on the world stage as well. So that's super exciting. And I don't even know, my race did not go very well, but that's okay. I made it to the start line. I ran what I could do. I did what I could do. It sucks. I had a mechanical, but it's all right.
You've gotten a lot faster this year. She's been training like with one of the top trainers in the sport that's worked with all the notable people. And actually, I feel like you learned a lot from that. The course was completely different than anything she's ever ridden. Really? And Ashley hasn't ridden bikes for that long, and she's already competing in the pro class and on the world stage. And I've seen him like the improvement with Ashley this year to last year is insane. Like, she's beating people on our team that she had never caught before in a race. And it's a different level of rider this year than last year. And I feel like a lot of it was the you going to the world championship and kind of learning from that. Would you agree with that, Ashley?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely showed me what I needed to do to be the rider that I'm striving to be. And I mean, definitely just, I'm working with Charlie Mullen's coach, and that's been like a huge, huge change for me. I think that has really just helped me step it up to where I need to be so that I'm more successful on that world stage in August.
So what advice would you give, let's say if a wife or a sister or daughter that's, curious about getting into mountain biking, but kind of like, I just don't know if that's for me, like, or giving it a try and struggling with it, what kind of advice would you give to somebody like that?
I would tell them to reach out. I mean, I always even say, just reach out to me. Let's go for a ride. Let me talk you through what we're doing, or just find somebody that would be willing to do that, just that you're comfortable with. And, just use that as a starting point, because I mean, that makes a huge difference. I know when I started, I think I would have given up had I not reached out to a friend for some help, and they just, guided me on that and showed me what to do and laughed with me. And, when I fell over, brush it off and get back on the bike. And, and I think that's a big part of it, especially with women, just finding that comfort zone and just trying it, especially e-bikes. Just give it a try before you, just say, nah, I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. Cause reason I was asking, cause my wife, we go regular mountain biking, an acoustic, as you call it, I guess. We go, we ride all the time at Watersmith out there, and she struggles a little bit, like with the downhill turns and some of that stuff. But, I always joke around with her, but she doesn't have that comfort zone yet, like you guys talk about. And sometimes I feel like she feels like she's not very good at it, but I know that she's not the only woman out there that does it or tries it or wants to try it. You know what I mean?
The GNCC courses are really challenging, but not besides snowshoe. There's some sections at snowshoes race that are, if you're not a skilled rider, you could get hurt. Beyond that, man, the courses are hard, but it's from an endurance perspective, or maybe the like last week it was muddy and soft.
Right.
It wasn't dangerous. So there are people out there that really couldn't ride a legitimate mountain bike trail safely, but could ride those courses and be fine and not really be intimidated. Snowshoe, again, is a different picture, but every course we've been on, I feel like is safe. If you want to go really fast, you can go fast. If you're going to be really slow, you can do it safely and not have to worry about having an issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely okay to walk a bike. Like, I think a lot of people get caught up in, oh, I have to ride the bike the whole time. No, if something makes you nervous and you're learning, just walk the bike until you're there. Like, everyone has a starting point.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these, like Luke said, a lot of these courses are not like what you typically experience when you're on a mountain bike trail, I'm assuming, correct?
Right.
Because on a mountain bike trail, kind of what you want and what you look for is a lot of hard pack stuff. And when you're talking about the soft stuff in the GNCC course, I guess what I'm asking is, what do you train on when it comes to trying to train yourself to prep for a GNCC race? Is it a normal mountain bike trail, or are you trying to put yourself in situations like you're going to experience at a GNCC?
Go ahead, Ashley.
So I'm trying to think. I'm mainly on my regular mountain bike, but like the week of a race, I always make sure that week I'm on my e-bike. If I have a mountain biking training block in there, then I always take my e-bike out. And that's just something that I do because it just helps with my confidence on that e-bike if I'm on it before I race. I also train, like I live in Ohio, so it rains all the time. So I've learned to not be afraid to go out in the rain and the mud because, I mean, I'm going to see it at a GNCC. So I try to just not be afraid of the weather and go out in the rain, the mud, whatever, and just, power through it. So
Ashley, just to put it in perspective, Ashley has gone all in on this sport. Mm-hmm. She was a teacher. She left that career to go all in training and she works at a bike shop. So she still has a day job, but like she trains differently than I think most of the other women, not in the WXC class, right? So she's doing the trainer, which is literally like you're on a stationary bike just suffering for an hour, hour and a half. So she trains like a professional athlete. You don't have to do that to come out and have fun. Like I said, I'm in the big bore class, right? So like I don't ever touch a regular bike without an engine without a motor, unless it's my BMX bike. So the type of stuff that, me and most of the other guys on the team, we're riding regular mountain bike trails. There's nothing that really can replicate a GNCC course.
Right.
Last race was not the norm. It was probably one of the worst courses we've had, but they were trying to salvage it. It rained like crazy the whole week.
Right. It
was a terrible course condition wise. You don't want it to be soft. Right. Like everybody's battery died. Like literally everybody's battery, except, there's a kid on our team that's like 75 pounds. His battery didn't die. So you don't want it to be soft. Every once in a while you're racing in the quad ruts, so you can't really train for anything like that. But any type of mountain bike, you guys said you guys go to Watersmith. Yeah. There are people that race in the series that's where they ride. Ashley, she's in Ohio. Like I said, it rains a lot, so she still gets her training in on the trainer inside and just suffers indoors when she has to.
Suffering. Yeah. That's the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
So walk us through just a typical GNCC day for you. I'm sure you wake up and eat berries or whatever, but, just walk us through your day. How's that go?
Well, my day is usually pretty hectic because like Luke said earlier, my husband races quads. Thankfully this year he has switched to the morning.
Oh yeah, that'd be really hectic then.
Yeah. Last year he raced the afternoon, so it was super hectic because I'm his pit crew. So that was like pit him and then hurry up and get ready for my race. But this year it's a little bit easier. So typically in the mornings I'm up getting him ready, making sure like we have breakfast and everything, his quad's ready to go. We get him ready, get him to the start line. Then I got to pit him during his race. I'm the nervous wife, so I always have to see him cross the finish line, and then I'm okay. Yeah. So once he's good, then I feel like I can relax a little bit and start concentrating on my race. So kind of after he's done, I'll go hang out with the team for a little while, check in with them, and then I usually try to go back and hide in my camper for a little while just so I can, get focused and ready to go for our race. So my days are a little bit hectic, but it's working.
Right. Yeah. So I have a question, Luke. You kind of brought it up. I've always wondered because I know you guys race in the highest power mode, which is boost. Is that turbo?
Yeah, depending on the brand. Yeah,
depending on the brand. Turbo. Okay, so you talked about the battery running out. Is there ever situations where you guys take it off of that turbo or boost to try to salvage your battery? Do we have strategies like that going on?
It depends on the brand. Obviously we're heavily supported by Specialized,
right.
But even if we weren't, like that's what we would run.
Yeah.
Their equipment's the best, but a big part of it is their battery is a 700 watt battery, which compared to, I think some of the others are 500 watt. That makes a big difference. So I think some of the other brands struggle with that. Like I know last year Talon Hawk was on a different make than he is this year, and him and his dad did pit stops, and they had like a battery swap down to like 7 seconds. It was, but they had to do that.
Okay.
Or it wasn't going to make it. We talked about Steve Mathis, and he's on an intense taser. That bike would not last a full race.
Yeah.
so normally we don't have to. This last race, I don't know if you had to or not, but I know several people on the team were having to, once they realized that some of the times it was too late, but they were like, I'm not going to finish. So they had to drop it down into like eco. Oh, that's not normal. The course was just so soft. So it like bogged everything down and it sucked the power out of the motor way quicker. Normally, like Ashley's, I'm running turbo the full way through. Right. I'm 200 plus pounds. So Ashley's usually running it all the way through. Right. Did you have to modulate that at all last week, Ashley?
No. So in 4 years, I've never had my like low battery, flash. And luckily I was only a quarter mile from the finish and it popped up low battery. So I finished with like 6% battery. So I saw a little bit.
I died on mid-second lap. So yeah. I made it all the way through the third, and then I just pulled off and rode it back in the pits.
Isn't it crazy? And I'm sure, like you guys know more than most how much just a little bit of soft ground.
It's insane.
I remember because I did a lot of mountain biking this winter, and I noticed when I would start out a ride before it would thaw, and when it was cold and frozen, it was nice. But then as soon as it would thaw, man, I mean, it's crazy. Just the littlest bit of softness, and that's on an acoustic bike. So you really can tell it slows you down big time.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. And I think everybody, literally not just my team, but everybody in the series learned last week, like, okay, if we pre-ride the course and it's soft, part of my strategy going into this race is how do I make sure my bike gets there? Because
or have a spare battery,
which depending on, again, a specialized, I think their spare, like the buy replacement battery is $1,000+. Yeah. So it's not, when you got
that's more than my mountain bike.
$7,000 to $15,000 bike, dropping another $1,000 on a battery is hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So Ashley, before we let you go, a couple questions. Have we already went to our favorite track, or is there a track that you have circled that you're really excited for this season?
I love our last race at Beckley.
That's a good one.
I don't know why that track, I always perform well, and I love that track. It's a great mix of, I guess, more mountain bike type trails where you got all the rocks, the roots, and everything. And I always feel super fast on that track. I love it.
That's awesome.
I can't wait for the last one.
I've never heard one negative word about that facility when it comes to ATVs, dirt bikes, eMTBs, just the facility itself. It's a really cool place to go. Yeah. I'm excited to get back down there too. We're looking forward to seeing how you do the rest of the year. Looks like you're starting to hit your strides. So we'll be paying attention, and we really appreciate you coming on this show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
Absolutely. We do have one more question. Luke's already had to go through this question before, and every time somebody's new on the show, they have to answer this question. Yeah, it's if you had to pick one fast food restaurant and one candy for the rest of your life, and that's the only thing you could have, what would it be?
I can guess her fast food restaurant.
That's the thing is, like, if she's really on a strict training regimen, she's probably like, oh man.
Everybody also always binges after races. It seems like that's what we tend to find out.
All right, my favorite fast food would have to be Zaxby's.
Okay.
I love Zaxby's. Every time we go south, I have Zaxby's like 5 times within the weekend.
Half our team does that. That's why I was like, I know she's going to say Zaxby's because they all get it. One of the families on our team got it like 4 times at Georgia. I was like, man, you guys done with that yet? And then Ashley went and got it.
Oh, love that place. And then what was it? Your favorite candy?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, that's tough. Sour Patch Kids.
Okay. Yeah, that's my daughter's favorite candy, so I get to snack on that as well.
Nice. Yeah, my son doesn't like to share, so I have to sneak them.
Yeah, I understand.
Awesome. Well, Ashley, again, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate your time tonight, and again, we're gonna be watching to see how you do the rest of the season, and good luck at the Penton this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll be there cheering you on, probably.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yep.
We'll be there. So maybe we'll stop by and say hey. And like I said, good luck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good luck, and we'll talk to you down the road.
See you, Ash.
All right. Well, bye.
All right,
See you guys. Yeah.
All right, guys. That was Ashley Hendershot.
Get your eMTBs and let's go racing.
Yeah, no. Hey, speaking of that, we got a couple of questions already. Actually, Jeff Harvey, thanks for watching, man. We appreciate it. Appreciate your time last week. If you guys missed his show, make sure you go back and check it out. He had a show on
Spotify.
Facebook Live.
Well, Facebook. Oh, you're talking about
his show he had
Yeah.
last night. Yeah. I watched it this
I thought you
morning.
were talking about our show with him.
Yeah, our show. If you missed our show with him, go back and listen to it or
Right.
watch it. You can get it on Facebook. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Spotify.
Yeah, we're really bad about that since we went live. And please hit the share button if you're watching this right now.
Yeah, we don't do that enough.
No, we don't.
really.
We don't at all.
I just feel like
We always
I feel like because if sometimes when people say share, like it makes me like I don't want to share. So if you want to share.
Just don't share it. Maybe if we tell them not to share it, they will.
But Luke, Devin Masters has a question, and I think this is a really good question, being that we're on the eMTB train right now. He wants to know, can he race one of the rented bikes? And what class would you recommend him and myself racing?
So I'm 99% sure, so not 100. So check this weekend. I don't believe you can race the rented bikes, and that would be through Gear Bicycles. I know that you could not race those because it's very hard on those bikes. Like there's a good chance if you've never raced, you're gonna rip a derailleur off or something until you get used to like wind the shift and stuff like that. And they know that. And those things, especially right now, it's hard to get parts. So generally, I don't think they'll let you race them, but you can always check. If you guys did, find a bike or you could rent one and you showed up, it just depends on your age. I mean, there's a 40 plus amateur. That's a good one. There's a Masters 55 plus. That's another amateur class. If you're really fast, there's the XC2, which is anybody 16 and over that's not at the pro level, but you're really freaking fast and you shouldn't be in the amateurs. And then if you're heavier, again, there's the big bore class. So it's over 200 pounds. So you kind of can take your pick through any of those. I would just stay away from XC1 unless you're a complete monster.
Gotcha.
So I got 2 weeks to gain 10 pounds.
Yeah. If I could give you some of mine, man, I'd give it to you.
Right. I'm right there with you, Mike.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'd be the first time I ever rode an e-bike. Like I said, I've been on acoustic, so it's going to be a treat. So I'm really excited, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
for
man,
sure,
for sure.
So we're going to get our next guest on the show here in just a minute, Mikey Waynes. We got a lot to talk to him about, for sure. But before we do that, Jeff Harvey, thanks for mentioning that. The Kenda 9 Hour of Havoc, that's going to be July 9th. So it's going to be a 9-hour ATV race up in Pennsylvania. Jeff, remind me again where the location is. It's going to be a 9-hour ATV race. Yeah, they have their pro classes, they have their normal classes, and then they have an Ironman class for somebody.
I think there's a 4x4 class, an Ironman.
Yes, and they have crazy purses too.
Yeah.
I just listened to Jeff's show last night. They had Berlin, PA. Berlin, PA is where the track is. I think they have a $6,000 pro purse. They have $1,000 4x4 purse and $1,000 women's pro purse, and Split Line might be throwing a purse in there for the overall
amateur
or for the overall amateur winner.
Yeah, we'll have to get with Jeff.
We'll get with Jeff, and we're gonna put our money where our mouth is, and we're gonna support that race for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. It's teams of 3.
Yep.
So it's actually at Tanner Walker's house, XC2 rider.
Okay.
So Devin, thank you for mentioning that for sure. So let's get our next guest on the line. We're going to talk some. We got a lot to catch up with Mikey on because we had him on. We had him on whenever we had a preview shows this year, and now we're 6 rounds deep. So we got a lot to talk to Mikey about for sure.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, we're going to send Luke home with some Sill Sabers for his eMTB bike.
That's
right
awesome.
there.
I've been wanting to get a set of these guys.
So
thank you very much.
Sill Sabers, hook them up, guys. It's a great sponsor.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
How are you now?
Hey, sir. How are you?
I'm so good. Good to hear from you guys.
Hey, man, it's good to talk to you. Let me ask you, is there a show, an internet radio show that you're not a part of?
You know what? I'm trying to spread myself as thin as possible. As a matter of fact, I just got done doing a MAV TV voiceover for the GNCC TVs. Like, I'm literally sitting here sending the emails now.
Nice.
So does Wifey Waynes ever wake up in the middle of the night and like you're over there half asleep, just like talking racing in your sleep? Does that ever happen? Or
it's not, no, I'm a sound sleeper, but I will say, like, this evening, I told her, I was like, hey, I'm doing the split line show tonight. She's like, oh, okay. I was like, and I got to do a voiceover before that. And she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'll take a break in my voiceover. We can like do dinner. She's like, you're fine. Do your thing. And we'll hang out after. So she's very understanding.
Oh, geez, that's awesome.
Mikey, we have Luke Nesler on. I know you just done a show with him not too long ago.
What's up, brother? How are you today?
Did we lose it?
Mikey, you there?
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah. What is up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Yeah. So Brandon and I were kind of joking off air a little bit ago. Last week we had Jeff Harvey on. We have Luke Nesler in studio. You're on now. This is kind of like becoming like the meeting of the minds right now. Like we have a lot of guys that like to talk, meeting up and just BSing about racing.
That's what we need. We need more of it. We need more people talking.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, while we have both of you on, I want to personally thank both of you, Luke and Mikey. Like both of you two have been in the corner of our show since pretty much day one, or since you heard about us, and like we really appreciate it, and we owe a lot of our growth to you guys, kind of being in our corner and helping us out. So it's really cool having you guys both on right now, and kind of in the corner of this show.
I appreciate you having me on as many times as you guys have, man. I think it's cool. You guys have grown the show, and yeah, man, I think it's just the beginning. So you don't owe me anything. I maybe down the road, if you make it big, you can send me a check or something. But no, it's been fun. I appreciate it.
I just want a sticker. That's all I want.
Oh, hey, this Saturday.
This Saturday, you'll have a sticker and a T-shirt, Mike.
That's awesome.
Oh, heck yeah! I will wear it proudly.
Yes.
All right. Now it's not as cool as that Hoosier jacket that you had made for you last week, and that's pretty sweet.
That thing was ridiculous. I'm so grateful. I actually just did this is not why I did a Tuesday toolbox with him, but I did do a Tuesday toolbox with Kyle. And that guy does like some amazing things, works with a charity that travels the world, like helping rebuild houses. He's got a really awesome tribute to a friend of his that died while serving our country as a Marine. Like the endless amazing things that guy does, I was blown away. And I'm like, dude, this jacket is like small potatoes compared to the cool things you do. So let's talk. And so I did an interview with him for that Tuesday toolbox yesterday. So for those listening, watching, if you haven't read that, definitely give it a read.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
It's always good to read.
For sure. Always good to read the Tuesday toolbox. Like I said, Mikey, you are deep in all the media department for sure. And this last weekend, man, we had you on the 10 seconds call. How was that? That's like what, your second or third time doing that?
Nationally, yeah, that would have been my third time. We had I used to do them at locals, way back in the day, but man, that was like 2012 to like 2015. So it's been years. I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
And I always joke, like I had to do it in 2020. We were up, I think it was the Mason-Dixon, and right before the pro bike race, Rodney, we can say it now. We thought he had Rona. So Terry Joe was like, dude, get the hell out of here. Go home. So it was rough because I didn't have any practice. It was just like, hey, you're doing the starts for the pro race on Sunday. And I'm like, okay, great. This should go horribly. And it went all right. I mean, I survived. And then at Snowshoe, I think it was last year, Rodney was having some like throat issues, and I had to fill in for him there too. So Hoosier I felt more at home. I felt more comfortable, but I told everybody there in person, look, Rodney's 10-second calls like butter. And nobody is ever going to be quite like butter. So this weekend you get imitation butter. Yeah, I was literally, I can't believe it's not Rodney. So we rolled with it.
No, hey, we didn't have any false starts this weekend, so that's a plus. I mean,
I'm proud.
It sounded good. It sounded good. I dig it for sure, man. So speaking of Rodney, you kind of maybe dropped a little nugget on the between the arrows this past week. Is the legendary Rodney Tomlin thinking about retirement in the upcoming years?
He is. This year he has. Over the last few years, he kind of rekindled a business relationship he had with a local radio station where he works, a big radio station, really. And I think they offered him a full-time gig. And he's ready. His kids are getting older. And he's been doing it for so long. And, I could tell it. And he's told me from year one, he's like, you're the guy. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I'm the guy? He's like, you're the guy that's going to replace me. He's like, and I'm okay with that. I'm ready for that. He said, I didn't want to leave this until I knew somebody could, take it and run with it, which I'm flattered by. But at the same time, I'm like, please, God, don't leave.
Right.
So from Rodney's words, at the end of the year will be it for him.
Yeah.
I still kind of have I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I kind of hope at least he does GNCC next year. And if he doesn't do a full season, at least some of them, just because I'll miss him for sure.
Yeah.
But he is not doing any more ATVMX this year. And I don't think he's going to Loretta's. So I'm hoping to do Loretta's. I think that's a go. And then I did ATVMX this last weekend at Ironman for him.
Oh, what a mess.
And that was a blast.
Hey, no, Brandon, did you know that Mikey, he doesn't only just do ATVMX, he also does jet ski racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. He covers jet ski racing. Every time he's at an ATVMX
Especially
race.
Ironman.
Ironman and the Daytona, correct?
Yeah.
Dude, it was, I told those guys on the mic when Moto2 started, so like it was a light sprinkle when they threw the one card. And then I'm telling you what, like literally in the 20, 30 seconds it took them to turn that card sideways, the sky opened up and it was a downpour. And it was an absolute nightmare to call. It was a nightmare race. So it got so bad, like as they come through the finish and they make a little right-hander and they go back in around the turn 2, it became a lake, and it looked like that lake at Daytona for round 1. And I'm on the mic, and I'm like, you guys are never going to invite me back. I said, every race I call, you guys have to get out, the waders and go swimming. So it was chaos, dude. I've never seen anything like that.
When we saw the highlights or just the little clips of it, I was like, what are people doing pushing the bikes up jumps? Like,
did you ever, I mean, I've never really pushed my bike a lot on the track, but like they were holding the E-start up the hill, like to help pull the bike.
Did they do Godzilla for the ATVMX?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What, so how did that work out with all that?
First moto, I bet it was pretty awesome, wasn't it, Mikey?
Yeah, first moto is sick. It's insane. And they get like, man, it's one thing to watch bikes go up off the big skyscraper. But ATVs, man, like TV doesn't even do it justice. No. Like to see it in person's like, you guys have to haul your balls around in a wheelbarrow. Like it's insane. Just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's one of those things when you see like, through practice, you'll see some A riders and some B riders hit it. And then they get out there for that first time qualifying practice, the pros, and you're just like, man, these guys, it's kind of like I heard Luke talking about like XC1 eMTB, like unless you're just an absolute animal, forget it. It's the same way with like those ATVMX pros, like unless you're an animal, forget it. Like you're just not going to be able to compete with those guys. It's nuts.
No, it's crazy. Like this might be completely wrong, but I want to say it's been years since we've had anybody win a moto or definitely an overall outside of Chad Weenan and Joel Hetrick. Yeah. Those two have just been on an absolute nether level. And then, Luke, it got so bad in this second moto that a guy named Nick DeNoble, which was a pro racer back in 2012, I believe, when he retired. Correct if I'm wrong, Mikey. It's been since 2012 since he raced. He came out of retirement just for this one race and won that mud moto.
That is wild.
Dude, it was insane. It was so nuts. And my one, I was kind of the new guy in the block. I know of these guys, but I don't really know them personally. Like I know the GNCC guys, and I talked to Big John from GNCC on Sunday when we were wrapping up with amateurs, and I'm like, man, the one interview I wish I'd have gotten was DeNoble. With that second moto win. Just like I didn't see him. I didn't know where he went. So I owe DeNoble an interview for sure, because that was badass. I don't care if it's 4-wheel, 2-wheel, GNCC, ATVMX, Pro Moto, whatever. When a dude like that comes back and like gets one, everyone should go nuts for him, because
absolutely
rules it gets.
Yeah, he went 14-1. 14-1.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, and exciting for him for sure. Hey, Jeff Harvey's in the chat. He said Mikey Waynes is top notch in the booth. One booth guy to another, top notch in the booth, Mikey.
Yeah, dude, Hardcore Harvey was he was a godsend this last race. We had some, it always happens on Saturday and I hate it. But we had some technical issues with the internet that was affecting camera shots, and Jeff got kind of a behind the scenes of how it can be a little chaotic sometimes when the weather doesn't want to cooperate with us. But Jeff to me is the voice we've been kind of missing on Saturday. Sunday we got Johnny Gallagher in there to get rider perspective, but Saturday it's just me and Rodney. And like me personally, hey, I'll carry the show. I'll take us in and out of breaks. I'm kind of the stat guy. I can give you who won what, but to me, if I start talking about track conditions and bike setup, everybody's going to be like, "Oh, Mikey's full of BS," and they're right. So I want a guy like Jeff Harvey in there who can say, "Hey, man, I raced this morning. Here's what to expect out of the track. Here's what, worked as far as tire setup, bike setup." So it's awesome to have his contributions from that aspect. Yeah, for sure. And hey, just to let you know, we're going to be the next 5 rounds. We may not be able to give you the rider perspective. We could give you the professional watcher perspective. If you ever need it, Mikey, just hit us up. I'll talk with Rodney, and I don't see a reason why not. Why we couldn't bring you guys in to at least, give a 5 minutes of, we've always got some downtime. We've always got a spot on the track where we couldn't really get cameras, where the drone doesn't reach. And we're always looking for a little bit of filler. So I'm sure the folks at home won't mind us, not going. We got to pay the bills. We got to do commercials. But if we have a few less commercial breaks, I don't think anybody'd be mad. Yeah, we're slowly becoming professional BSers, so we can help you in that department if you ever need it. That's right.
So we just want to know, you're not drinking the water on Sunday, right? Because whatever those guys are drinking on Sunday is not working out for them.
Dude, oh my God. I feel so bad for just everybody. Mm-hmm. Now Stu's out, and I worry about how serious that is for Stu Baylor as far as, Stu's not the kind of guy that's like going to really tell people how much it hurts or how severe it is. But I think we all know you just can't mess around with a broken face. That's really what it is. It's scary. And those are really tiny little bones. My wife she runs a LASIK surgeon's office out of Indianapolis. And so I'm literally like sending her Stu's story of the breakdown. And I'm like, hey, explain this to me. And she's like, oh, this is not like the end all be all, but this is very bad. Like these could have like lasting effects.
Right.
So, but we also know I think Stu could go out there, throw an eye patch on and still go out there and get a top 3, if not a win. So will it affect him long term? I doubt it. I think he'll be back before we know it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a scary injury for sure. And like you said, mark me as not surprised when he went out and won the first test of the U.S. Sprint Enduro this past weekend by 30 cents. National Enduro. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. Mark, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. So, knowing him, he'll be back before you know it. But man, it's just been so gnarly lately. Luke, we were talking about it before the show. Ben Kelly now having a pretty serious injury, dislocated shoulder, broke a tib fib. The shoulder is the crucial thing that it seems like he's worried about.
He's already had surgery on the leg.
Mikey, what are you hearing in that aspect?
I shot Ben a text like pretty much as soon as I found out. We got Racer Productions ran ATVMX, so we got informed. Not me personally, but Jared Bolton and a few others got informed of what happened pretty much when it happened. And they told me about it. And that was when I made the probably an hour before I made the bottleneck post on the story. I was like, hey, can I share this yet? And they're like, man, don't put anything out there yet. We want to give it a little time. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I'm like, man, I can't just be quiet about this. I got to say something. But it shot him a text and just said, hey, I don't expect you to see this. I don't expect you to even reply to it. Just thinking about you. Hope you heal up quick. And he texted me at, I think it was 12:45 that night, and, expressed his appreciation for me reaching out and said, I've already had the surgery. So it's just a matter of me healing up and getting back. But he didn't really talk much about the shoulder like you were talking about. And dude, hearing his video that next day, that was insane.
That was, you could tell he was it was tough for him to make that video because, with the success that he's been having this year, winning every GNCC race this year, and knowing it was his, just kind of probably going away.
So how does that play out moving forward to where, he's won every race.
Yes.
Right.
It's a season ender, right? Like he doesn't come back for the last couple, does he?
Well, with the big break, with the summer break, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
With the shoulder,
the shoulder seems to be the big thing, wouldn't you say, Mikey?
Yeah, I think the shoulder will be the question, but you also got to look back or look ahead. Let's take the guy in second place. You got Jordan Ashburn second in points. Ashburn's not really had the season I think we expected to see out of him. I'm sure this is going to light a fire under him, and we're going to see big out of him. So let's say Jordan Ashburn goes out, wins the next 3, makes up 90 points. I think that only gives him I'm not looking at the math right now, but maybe a 25-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, if somehow Ben Kelly comes back after summer break and wins, there's 30 points for him right there. And depending on where Ashburn ends up that race, he could very well be right back in the lead.
Yeah. Ashburn or Bollinger. I think
it's 115 for Ashburn and 114 for Bollinger, and then DeLong's at 104. So if Ben doesn't come back, do those three guys, Bollinger, DeLong, and Ashburn, do they look at it as like it's a fight between the three of them now? Or is that
for the championship?
Right.
For the championship. Now you got guys like Josh String that can step up there and take some victories away from these guys, which would be if Kelly could make it back.
Somebody like Lane Michael also.
And Lane
just came
Michael
back to the
too. They're not going to be in the championship hunt, but they can also hurt these guys if Ben can make it back after.
Ricky Russell. There's a lot of guys, if you take Ben Kelly out, there's a lot of guys in this class that could potentially win right now. And what's crazy about it is if you start dividing those wins up amongst all those guys, how long can Ben hold on to the points championship lead before he loses it?
Right.
Yeah, it's a little scary because if those guys start trading off wins, that's the other thing.
Right.
I mean, if Ashburn grabs one, Bollinger grabs one, DeLong grabs another, they're still at that point, they're still fighting for second.
Yeah,
and still,
that's crazy.
They still need to get some wins after summer break to catch up to Ben. So.
Right. Yeah,
and that might play a factor for him too. I mean, if you're Ben and you're thinking, man, I'm pretty good to go, but as I look at it, we come back from summer break, I'm still not 100%, and even if I don't race, I still got the points lead. Okay, I'm going to put it off for another 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah,
or he goes out there and says, I'm not going to try and win, but I'm going to try and do the point salvage thing,
right,
and just finish as high as I can.
Wouldn't it be crazy if he somehow still ends up with this championship after all this. Like it just blows my mind that's how great of a season he was having. And I mean, he looked untouchable out there just riding around, having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
another guy to keep an eye on is from XC2, Lyndon Snodgrass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got 83 points on the year, and that guy, I think he might be a top 3 as far as the points are concerned, possibly by the end of the season if he can somehow manage to pull off maybe a win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, winning from the second row right now is honestly, I mean, of all times, it's possible now.
Especially at Snowshoe.
Yeah.
Especially at Snowshoe.
Especially with all these guys being out, and if he would, get a good start from row 2 or 3, and with the time adjustment, he could easily pull off overall.
So Ben, it kind of breaks out last year. This year, it's insane. Like nobody's even been close to him. I mean, is if he stays healthy, is this what we're going to see the next several years? Like we're seeing in the ATV side of things where nobody's touched Walker for years. Like, do you think Ben's going to be like that, or are there guys coming out of XC2 that will step up and push him, or do you think it could potentially be like a 2 or 3 year run here to where nobody even touches this guy?
Well, if he stays healthy, the only one that I've ever seen that could maybe touch him was Stu Baylor, and we don't know how healthy he's going to be coming back in the next couple of years with all these injuries he just had, and with his age and injuries and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't. Right now, Ben Kelly's looking like the next Caleb Russell for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've been going to GNCCs consistently since the e-bike thing took off. So I really started paying attention to it more there. And I don't think Stu's had a full season since, I started going in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you got Ben, and I know he's hurt right now, but if he can finish the season, let alone win as many races as he does, he can make it real boring.
Yeah,
right.
Ben's typically not been a guy that has suffered injuries. He's typically been a guy that's been able to outlast everybody and stay healthy. But Mikey, what I'm seeing this year particularly is the injury bug has just wiped the class pretty much clean. Do you consider? Is Ben really that much better than everybody, or is he somebody that is also benefiting from the class being diminished with the injury plague?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, he just won the Hoosier by, I have to look at timing, but it was either 3 minutes and 40 some seconds or 5 minutes and 40 some, or excuse me, 4 minutes and 40 some seconds.
It was a pretty big gap because you guys were doing the interview with him, and third place was coming into the finish line. So
yeah. But I also think, combination of the fact that, Stu's not out there. Thad isn't out there. However, I think the one thing missing from Ben Kelly's resume last year was those race wins.
Yeah.
And I think bug the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Just the body language alone, and when he'd have to come in and see Stu get another win, and you can tell the wheels in his head. He's like, man, I'm the points leader, but I'm doing this the way that everybody kind of talks shit on,
right?
Essentially. So I think, he's been working with Caleb Russell, and that's definitely, you just look at him and the guy's so smooth. And I know it's ironic to say he doesn't make mistakes because he clearly just had a big wad up and is hurt right now. But you watch him at a 3-hour GNCC, and he's not necessarily the guy that's got the blistering speed, but he's just flawless on the track. He sees the track in ways that I just don't think other guys see it. Johnny Gallagher was pointing out, his riding style, kind of creating his own lines on the outside where, he's not taking the line that the amateur C and B riders made in the morning race. He's, those don't even exist to him. He knows where he's going at all times. So I think I give Ben Kelly credit for this season. I think maybe he wouldn't win all 6 rounds if Thad and Stu were out there, but I bet he'd win probably 4 of those 6 at least.
Yeah. This is he's definitely put himself he's showed himself to be the top dog of the class this year. Whereas last year, although like you said, Mikey, he was the points leader, Stu Baylor really presented himself as the guy of the class. And it was almost like, well, if Stu had missed those first couple of rounds or hadn't have, wrestled an alligator, then he would have been the champion. But this year there was going to be no doubt. We were talking about a perfect season 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys think that the last couple of years changes things for these top guys? I know some of them have gotten hurt at GNCC, but if GNCC is the premier series that these sponsors want them to go after, which it is, do you think that all these other, the sprint enduros and all these other races that clearly some of these guys are getting hurt at, do you think that you start seeing less of them at these other series because they have to try to stay as healthy as they can for GNCC? Even though I know, what was it, round one, it took out Thad, took out, Stu and all those guys. But I mean, last week, Stu almost blows the side of his head off with a tree, and then you've got Ben. Yeah. What do you think that changes, or do we just keep running it as hard as we can?
It's funny you say that because we've had this talk.
We talked about this just yesterday. Was ranting about it.
And the reason I think that they're going to have to still run these events is because this is how they make their living, and unfortunately, they're not making supercross money or motocross money. They're not making $100,000 to win, or even, as far as our knowledge, they're not even making $15,000 to win a GNCC race. Maybe, I think Stu said maybe a factory rider with his factory team is making 10 grand, and then whatever the win bonus is for a GNCC, which I'm not sure what it is. No one's ever really said. I don't know if Mikey knows or not, but I think it's only like $2,000. So for these guys to make a living, they have to run these other races.
They have to hustle. It's a hustle. It's a grind for sure. And Mikey, we've seen this build up over the years to where I think it kind of used to be, like you said, Luke, more of if you were a GNCC racer, that's what you were, that's what you raced, and that's the series that you ran, and that was about it. But now it seems like all of these riders, and you're talking from the pro class down, are running multiple series. The schedules are meshed together. The GNCC schedule comes out, and then everybody else kind of follows in and goes off those weekends. That way they can make these races to where all these guys are able to come to them. What's your take on that, Mikey?
I think you guys nailed it on the head with the amount of money they make. I think it's becoming more of a risk versus reward thing, probably at this point too, of like, hey, do I want to drive, most of these guys are East Coast. So do I want to drive all the way to Missouri for an enduro? Do I want to go to Indiana for an enduro? So it's, especially with fuel and everything, is just so stupid right now. Right. So I think we're going to see a lot more guys kind of doing that assessment of risk versus reward.
Yeah.
And you may see guys that say, or even factory teams might, KTM, I got to be thinking right now is thinking, man, we really should have just let Ben focus on GNCC and said, to the sprint enduro or the enduro. But yeah, hindsight's always 20. What is it? 2020? Is that right?
It's something like that. Pretty close to perfect.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
A little stitious. So, but it's funny because you see over on the supercross, motocross side, they seem to take more precautions when it comes to guys racing.
They're not allowed to ride anywhere without getting team permission.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's understood that anytime they throw their leg over the bike, that they have a high chance of getting injured. And to hate to say it, but it's becoming more and more so in the off-road world as well. I believe last year when Thad went out after the first round, I believe that was also at a sprint enduro race. Mm-hmm. So it's taken guys out of championship hunts. It's, now who's to say that those same guys wouldn't go out and get injured the very next weekend at a GNCC? But all I know is every time they throw a leg over the bike competitively, they have that one more chance of getting injured.
I think, we talked at the beginning of the show, the progression of the sport. And I think people that get into it look at cross country woods racing as maybe safer than going and hucking yourself over jumps. But when you get at a level as competitive as these guys are, it's like trying to drive a race car with like telephone poles in the course and you're trying to dodge them. Like these guys are going so fast. And maybe that's why you look at like Stu's compound and Caleb's compound. And a lot of times these guys are training with moto during the week.
Right.
I mean, look at what just happened to Stu. Like he's hitting like immovable objects at high speeds. Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if these guys want to do this, and part of the strategy is going to be stay healthy, you're going to have to take that into account when you're training and then when you're racing these other events, because I mean, man, a tree hurts when I hit it on an e-bike. I can't imagine on a quad or a 450.
Yeah. And I think it's going to have to take something from the sponsorships of GNCC or GNCC itself to maybe raise the bar a little bit so these guys don't have to put themselves in other series, which we like, because all the two-wheel, four-wheel racing is what we love. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to have to take something with a little bit of money to get them to not to do that, because like I said, we all know if this is what these guys do full time, they don't have any other job. If you only make what $40,000-$50,000 a year, you're probably not, it's struggle to get the race to race. So.
Mikey, we had just had a comment from Jeff Harvey. He actually asked what our thoughts were on slowing the track down. I mean, is that something that it's kind of easier said than done at this point when it comes to the GNCC races, because we've been at these facilities so often and so long that are the tracks just getting faster and faster, or do you know of an effort that they have to try to change up something or another to try to make that a little bit safer?
So I can't speak totally on behalf of how they set up. That'd be a great question for Jared Bolton. Mm-hmm. But I do know that one of the issues we run into, because I hear a lot, especially from the youth ranks, a lot of parents are a little concerned with how fast some of the speeds are in these certain sections that are more open. So riders, because it's more open, because they're not dodging trees, mm-hmm. they're carrying heavy speed through the woods. And the parents' concern is, my kid's running a faster speed. That means a faster crash. That means a more serious injury. So tighten the tracks up, make them more technical so they're not running at such a high rate of speed. The problem we run into at the national with that is we have so many riders that we end up with these bottlenecks. And God forbid we get bad weather. And then it's like bottlenecks have bottlenecks that have bottlenecks. Mm-hmm. And it's a nightmare for the rider, for the parents, for everybody. So I know that's got a little bit to do with how the tracks are set up and why when you go to a local, they're a little tighter, a little more technical. But to Jeff Harvey's point, maybe we get rid of fire roads. Maybe we get rid of, some of that stuff if possible. But, I'm not on the ATV with Jared and Ryan Eccles and those guys. So I don't know the rhyme or reason why things get set up like they do. I show up and just talk about racing.
No, you got to think about also breakdowns and that, how I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the numbers come out this year like they did last year with how many people or whatever. But I mean, we're talking 600 quads in the AM and maybe 1,000, close to 1,000 bikes on Sunday. Yeah. With a bunch of bottlenecks, like Mikey was saying, and then the track being so tight and stuff, and there's just a lot more chaos going on, I think, with the slower technical track.
It's not as easy as just making it right. Like you said, Mikey. I've seen videos of old GoPro videos of the snowshoe race where a guy is stuck in a mud hole and he looks around and there's literally a sea of ATVs behind him, where when they had the terrible bottlenecks in the early snowshoe days. So you don't want that. Yeah. But to your point, Mikey, maybe a fire road going 45 to 55 miles an hour isn't, we want to find somewhere in the middle, I guess.
Looks cool in the drone shot though.
If the drone can keep up.
And me, the street bike guy, I watch it and I'm like, I don't know why you guys are complaining about the roadway. That's the road I would go 120 miles down or 100 miles an hour down. And, Woods guys are like, oh, we know what it feels like to crash. That's why we don't carry those speeds.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's switch gears just a little bit. I feel like every time that we end up talking about the dirt bikes this year, it always has been a little bit of a Debbie Downer just because of all the injuries we've had. And we've talked about all kinds of different changes that, we've theorized about. Let's talk, Mikey. I want to know your thoughts on this amazing show we're getting between Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler this year.
It is long overdue. There was some races. I remember 2017, the year that Walker won every single round with the exception of X Factor. And I got so sick of saying every race, Walker Fowler out in front by 1 minute and 45 seconds. You can only build the hype of him winning every race. Now we can look back on it and be like, dude, that was a badass year. We saw Walker Fowler, one of the greatest seasons in the history of GNCC. I was there. I was in person. The reality is it's kind of boring to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
So this year with the back and forth of Bryson Neal and now how things are building, Bryson, 3 wins in a row. First guy to do that since, Adam McGill in 2016, something like that. And you come into round, what is this, 6?
Yeah.
And Bryson Neal's now got a little bit of a bigger lead. So will we see Walker Fowler lose 4 in a row? When's the last time that happened? There's so many more storylines and it's so much more exciting. And I think if you ask Walker Fowler that, he would say, yeah, no, it is more exciting and it is a lot more fun. I don't think Walker wants to win. Maybe he does want to win easily, but he wants to earn it. And these guys are making him earn it this year.
Yeah. Every time we've had Walker on the show, he's always kind of alluded to that fact. He always is looking for that extra motivation.
Right.
And it seems like, in years past, he wasn't able to find, he had to look really hard. Hell, he looked at our podcast at the time that only had 10 viewers as a sign of motivation when one of us didn't pick him to win a race. So,
yeah.
So, but now, the motivation is right there. These two are pushing each other to new speeds that just seems to be unfathomable. I find it almost hard to, Brandon, you and I both have raced a quad. We've raced quads in the woods. It's hard enough to dodge the trees, let alone try to be making passes. And I can't imagine at that speed. And these guys are making passes.
I don't understand their lines
constantly.
I don't know how they get so many lines out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like there's a fast line. Like you see Bryson Neal, he's in the lead, he's winning, he's going, and then Fowler comes out, takes a different line, and somehow he's right on his butt or he's making a pass. It's like, where'd that line come from?
I just did that the MAV TV voiceover for the General, and I may have been in the pits when this shot happened, or maybe it didn't make the broadcast. But there is a shot at a creek crossing where Hunter Hart is out in front, and you just see out of the right corner of the screen, and they're all brown riders on brown bikes. So it's kind of hard, but you can just tell by the style it's Walker. And he takes this weird line that you're like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Grabs a fistful of throttle or a thumb. I don't know if he's a twist or a thumb throttle, but anyways.
He's a thumb guy, I'm pretty sure.
he blitzes that thing, and you could not have slid a credit card in between his ass end and the front end of Hunter Hart. It was just like threading the needle. And even in the recap episode, I'm like losing my mind on it. So yeah, when that comes out, definitely keep your eyes on that scene. And that just tells you how gnarly these guys are in the woods out front. It's insane.
Yeah.
Was this speed from Bryson, was this there last year? You think if he didn't get hurt, like what we're seeing this year, to where he maybe starts to like put out the fire of it's just Walker Fowler all day, every day? Because the few races he was in, I felt like it was there.
Mm-hmm. It was. He had a lot of I don't want to say bike mechanicals, but he had a chain brake one year, or not one year, but one race, and some other issues that's happened. He's on a better team this year, and they've got his back. And I think he feels that confidence. I felt, like a safety blanket, kind of like, hey, I ain't got to worry about this issue. I just got to get on my bike and I just got to go do what I got to do.
When you say a better team, last year he went from him and his dad. His dad was on the road all the time working, and Bryson was doing basically his own mechanicking throughout the week, and then his dad would be his mechanic throughout the weekend. And now he has the Magna One Motorsports team behind him.
Yeah,
that right there, Mikey, what do you think? That right there has got to be all the confidence in the world, just knowing that, okay, that's one huge thing that I don't have to worry as much about as I have had to in the past.
Yeah, the Magna One team, Chris Landers, he's a solid dude, and I think he's a guy that you can feel confident when he's in your corner. They're such a close-knit team. You know, they go to dinner. It's not all business. I mean, it's cliche, but they're really genuinely like a family over there. And that fits really, really well with what is essentially a father-son race team. With Bryson and his dad.
Yeah.
And that was a match made in heaven. And you're right. Chris Landers is also a guy, he works with like DQ on the sprint car. And it's one of those things where it's like, man, Chris, I could really use this item or this thing that would help my race program. And Chris was like, okay, let me make some phone calls. Let me pull some strings. Let me do what I can to set you up for success. He gives you the tools you need, and I think that's showing in Bryson's confidence this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, confidence is huge, especially at that speed and you're at that level. Are we looking at maybe the kind of the passing of the torch like we watched with Fowler and Borsch go down? What do you guys think? I
don't think selfishly, I want that to be a very slow, painful passing of a torch. I want to see that to be a multiple year process, because if the racing continues to be anything like it is right now, hey, I'm sorry, guys. If I offend you, right now, this is the best racing at the GNCC.
Yeah, 100%.
This is the coolest thing to go watch. I'm hoping and praying that we don't see a mechanical out of either one of these guys, because, we talked about last week with Jeff Harvey that it's almost like the first one to finish off the podium is going to lose the championship. So I really don't want to see a mechanical come into play. So I'm hoping that we're able to see these guys just battle like Titan style for the rest of the season.
How old is Walker Fowler age and then Bryson Neal? They're
pretty close in age, aren't they, Mikey?
Oh, you would ask me that. I am not. I know. I'm trying to remember. Bryson, Jeff Harvey might be able to chime in, because he did just tell us his age on his show. But it's a significant enough difference that I know Jeff said something about Bryson winning 7-8 titles, and Bryson's like, man, that would make me, I don't remember how old, but he'd be in his late 30s if he were able to do that. So I don't know that Bryson will be able to have the run that Boric or Walker had, but I think when Bryson hangs it up, he's probably going to be in that list of names of great GNCC ATV pros.
I would really like to see kind of it come down to like with Chad Wienen and Joel Hetrick kind of style racing over the next 4 or 5 years, if we can have them that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hoping 5 years.
It's good for the sport. I mean, like, everybody loved Carmichael, but if you look back at it now, like, damn, that was boring, man. Right. Like, just watching that guy win all the time compared to now.
Yeah.
It is what it is. The ATVs, like, if you're into it and you're there and you're next to them flying through the wood, it's cool, but man, it's been boring. Like, it's been Walker Fowler, and Walker's awesome. Yeah. But now, like, if you're a Walker fan, you like him even more when he's battling and he makes a comeback. I think it is what it is. Like, ATV, it's such a cool sport. I don't know why it doesn't get the recognition that I think it deserves. This kind of stuff, and you got a lot of new people there, like the e-bike thing. Like, there's a lot of families there for e-bikes that their dad's racing, the kid's watching. That kid might be like, dude, that's awesome. Right. And he wants to get a quad because of it, because now these two guys are battling. So I think it's only, it's definitely good for the sport.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff said he'll be 35 if he wins 8 in a row.
Oh, wow.
And then he's Sunstar Chain and Sprockets
Yeah,
said that he's 27 years old currently.
Okay.
Bryson is. So they're pretty similar in age. Walker's a year or two older. But I remember Bryson talked about how they raced a little bit together as amateurs, as youth racers.
Right.
I think Bryson has even said that they were in the very first ever youth race. These guys have been battling for a long time, and it's cool to see them at the top of the sport now.
Now, does anyone knock them off? Does anyone else win besides Fowler
this year?
I said when you guys had me on at the beginning of the year, I thought Hunter was going to win. I don't know. Again, I'm preoccupied with my team. I don't know what's happened to Hunter this year. I'm a friend of Hunter's. I like Hunter. I'm rooting for him. Do you guys still think he can get up and knock one of those guys off?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the speed. That's it's there. I'm not real sure. I know he had a couple issues throughout the year already. I think if he can put it together and get that confidence and that back in himself, I think he can.
Mikey, what do you think?
Yeah, Hunter will get a win this year. It might be.
You got to be careful with what you say. We know how your guys' relationship
I know
is.
Hunter listens to every word, and he won't like hearing this either. But I think we get out of summer break. I think Hunter Hart goes into summer break and says, "Dude, I am nowhere near where I know I should be," and I think he comes out with the fire under his belly after summer break. And those last few rounds, I think that's when he becomes a win contender.
He was fast at Mason-Dixon last year, right?
He was very fast at Mason-Dixon. He was hot on Walker's tail the entire race. And I believe they even swapped positions a lot too.
Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah, no, you're good. He actually, that it's just fresh on my mind. The Georgia round, he led a little bit in that one. So he's been there. It's just a matter of that complete race. And man, it's just been tough this year.
Another person I think that's coming along and might be able to squeak one out. And there's actually two people in my mind, but the one that John Glaude Jr., man, he is putting it on. And I think if he can just get that next little level and attach to those guys, I think he can make a run for it too. Anybody else?
Yeah, Glaude and Feehan both. Rodney and I keep referring to those guys as the young guns. There's definitely, we talk about changing of the guard between Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler, but boy, I got to say, we're saying the name Devin Feehan and John Glaude a lot more than we are, Adam McGill and Chris Borich and even Jared McClure at this point.
Does McGill get a podium anymore this year? McGill's my guy. We're Doddridge County guys. He flicks me off every time I see him. Do we get McGill on the podium this year? I know he's old, but I'd like to see him back on.
Yeah, man. He's get his jitterbug phone out. Give us a call. Get your back on the podium for sure.
Yeah, that dude doesn't even text. He's so old. He just calls.
Oh yeah. He called us and said he messaged us and said call me, leave me a voicemail. Leave me a voicemail.
Who leaves voicemails anymore?
Like McGill, who leaves voice? So no, but in all honesty, Luke, I think he has three major chances to get on the podium this year. Yeah. One, first and foremost, snowshoe. You never count McGill out at snowshoe. You never count McGill out at the Beckley Reserve, and you never count out the buckwheat. Those are the three in the state of West Virginia races that I think he has a major shot at getting on the podium.
Can I tell you a funny McGill story?
Yeah.
We're all ears.
So at what was the South Carolina round, the Tiger Run, where all the GNCC staff, Mikey, you included, had those awesome jumpsuits. So McGill and I go way back, and I'm like, okay, I took my e-bike team down. I'm like, I'm going into the woods right off the start. And when he comes through, I'm going to moon McGill. I'm going to moon him. I didn't know Adam was going to get the whole shot. So I end up mooning Walker Fowler by accident. And you could just see Walker McGill's in front because nobody expects him to get the whole shot. And then I can just, because I watched the video after I did it, I can just see Walker's face. his head just like turns, like he's like, is this dude's bare ass? Like, so it was, and then I was like, okay, if anybody from MX Sports saw me do that, I'm definitely, because I do a lot of work with him. I'm like, that probably wasn't a good move, but yeah. And then I texted Adam. He's like, no, I definitely would have seen that big white, and he didn't. So it was a fail.
The big bore.
Yeah,
the big bore.
yeah, the big bore. Yeah, yeah, it was good stuff.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Hey, Mikey, we're not going to keep you much longer, man. We know you got another show to appear on here, probably half an hour or so.
Yeah. Doing a podcast on I don't know. It'd be hamster racing, maybe.
Hey, you'd make it interesting. You'd make it interesting if it was hamster
I'd
racing.
try my best.
But we have a couple of listener questions, and the best listener question is going to get a prize tonight. But a couple of them are directed towards you. So Walker Taylor's wanting to know about the Skillman Chevron sponsorship plug in the Maxxis days.
Oh, you're talking about where they stock them deep and sell them cheap.
Oh, wow, that is a car salesman commercial right there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, he knows. That dude, that brought me so much joy back in the day. Walker Taylor there are very few kids that can go up there and do their sponsors and do them well without a note. And whether they got a note or not, I respect them, give those shout outs. But when the kids come up, they don't need notes and they can just roll off the tongue. I'm like, this kid was made for a microphone.
Mikey, awesome. You must never get that feeling now after going to the GNCC banquet last year and every single human being that got on that stage with Mikey or any of them just read off their cell phone the entire time. So Mikey probably never gets that feeling anymore.
Shaking and terrified, poor things.
There's no pit boards.
No,
there's no pit boards to read off of.
There's no pit boards. They're struggling.
So we got another listener question. I can't say who this is from, but are we going to see Mikey Waynes running in a ATV morning race at any point in time?
Hell no, because I'm going to beat Jeff Hardy. I'm going to beat Hunter Hart's ass. We're going to win. I got confidence in DQ.
Okay.
Time out.
Wait,
you got confidence in DQ. DQ's going to pick the ATV fantasy team?
This is a little wager we have going on.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's an unrelated question. It very well could be. But I just made a wager with Hardcore Harvey.
Oh, no, yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. That if I lose, right, I got to race, hopefully, Youth Trail Rider. If they'll let me sign up for that at the following round.
That's awesome.
So here's the thing. If you do lose, Mikey, I know that there was jokes last night about who's going to pit for you. Like, rest assured, we got you, man. We will have the split line pit crew.
His camel pack will be full of whiskey.
Hell yeah.
He's in.
Hey, I might actually do well. I might not get dead last.
Shoot, that's awesome.
Liquid courage.
A little bit of liquid courage for sure. So that's about the last question I have for you, Mikey. Man, I tell you what, dude, we appreciate you coming on the show, and always a good time getting to catch up with you and hang out a little bit.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, you guys. It's fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. And
we'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see you Saturday. Shoot me a t-shirt size, and we'll bring you a t-shirt and a handful of stickers.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, man.
See you, Mikey.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah, man.
Always good having Mikey on.
Always good to hear that funny voice.
I wasn't sure if that news was out there about Rodney stepping down. Like, he came up to us at one of the first races we had this year and had mentioned that he pretty much just told us everything Mikey told us. And when I had Mikey on the show a few weeks ago, I didn't even bring it up because I'm like, I don't even know if that's news or not. But I think Mikey's I told him he's so good at what he does.
Yeah.
He brings something completely different than we've ever really had. And he's like one of the people. He's not the announcer. Like, I don't know. It's because his personality and all that he relates to the fan really well, and I think he's going to be a perfect next person for that role.
He's the guy that everybody looks to find when they want to hang out with somebody cool with a track. No, I agree with you 100%. It's almost like he's there for fun and then just happens to announce the race while he's there. Yeah. But I tell you what, on the flip side of that, is it just me, or did anybody else just expect Rodney to always be there and never not be doing the 10-second call? I never even thought about who was going to do it next.
I mean, how many years he's been doing it for
a long time.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I know ever since I've ever watched GNCC or ATV motocross at that fact, it's been Rodney Tomlin.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I'm really proud of the fact that we got to be at his last ATV motocross and listening to him announce that race up at High Point. So that was cool.
He actually announced it over the intercom that he was, that was his last race. He was retired from ATV motocross, announcing at High Point. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. That's something you'll remember forever.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get to a couple more of these listener questions. One thing that we have somebody, who is it? 829 Walton wants to know about what keeps both of you guys coming back to XC racing year after year? Or woods racing.
Honestly, I just love racing, period. It's been in my blood for I started going to the pyramid at like 7, and I never left racing since then. But right now around here, there's no motocross tracks. So unfortunately, if you want to race, you kind of have to like XC. It's kind of where I ended up. I'm not going to lie, I was always a motocross guy. I love motocross, but I found a love for cross country riding, or XC, or whatever you want to call it, GNCC racing. So that's what keeps me coming back. Just the people are awesome. Never meet the nicest people ever with any racing, really. But that's what keeps me coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I tell my wife this all the time, like, I'm just competitive. So, I'm going to race something. I grew up racing and riding dirt bikes, and I was better on a bicycle. So that's what I did. I got into GNCC in 2019, and man, the thing that is going to keep me going there as long as I possibly can, and it might end up being on a quad or a dirt bike one day whenever I have a kid, if it's not on an e-bike, it's the family side of it. And that's something that I learned really quickly. Like, it's like a circus / like camping weekend / race. Like, everybody, your kids are safe. Like, nowhere else can you show up and just let your 7-year-old run around and not know where they're at all day, but know that they're safe. The family side of it to me is really cool. There's a lot of youth kids on my team, and a couple of them race quads, and you just get to see, like, it just raises a kid differently than baseball, football, basketball, any of those things. So that's, whenever my wife and I do have a kid, like, that's going to be the reason I want to continue to be part of it, is the family aspect of it. And you get to compete while you're there, which is cool.
Yeah. I think that, like Luke, I agree. I always kind of refer to it as a traveling trailer park. Is what it is, because it's you go there and you see all of the big rigs, all of the campers, and it's like a traveling campground that these guys go to, and they compete, they battle to the death on the track, and then off the track they light the campfire, grill, and have a good time those evenings. And you really don't get that in any other style of racing, to be honest. Like, we know we've talked to ATV motocross guys, and obviously the dirt bike motocross guys are very serious, and not saying that the GNCC racing isn't serious, because it is, but there's a very strong bond and camaraderie in that series, and it trickles down to all the local series as well. We go to the Mountain State Hare Scrambles every once in a while, and top-notch tracks, but when you're there, your family, if you've not been there for a while and you come, it's like everybody comes up and talks to you. It's good times, it's good people, and it's a really good way to spend your days, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then our last question that we're going to be able to get to tonight comes from Mason Mills. So he can't win the Seal Savers,
Right.
but he wants to know what is the best GNCC race of all time?
Of all time?
Yes, of all time. If you had to, first one, I have one right now.
The Blackwater wasn't a GNCC race,
No,
right?
I was going to say those don't count, right?
Those don't count.
Could you pick one though?
I mean.
No.
Like
So
the
I'm
year?
saying no. I'm saying like a race. What is the best race?
Oof, the best race. I think you have to go back to the Chris Borsch and
That's what I was going to say.
And Walker race. For the quads, anyways.
2014 Ironman.
2014.
Did they? So when we were out for COVID and they were doing those like look back shows, did you watch any of those to where they would like recap and they would have the riders talk about it? Was that one? Did they do that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I saw that. So I come from the motocross side of things. Like I got into the sport in like 2000, but it was motos in Supercross.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about GNCC until like 2008 or 9, and then I really got into it in 2018. So I'm going to go with that one because and I wasn't even into the sport at that point, I don't think, but
Right.
I watched it during COVID and I remember them recapping that race. And that one was memorable for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go back and watch that race, you couldn't write a movie to be more like thrilling and accurate. That race the title was on the line, winner take all. And
that's when Borsch had six times in a row, right?
Yes. Borsch and Walker were basically tied. Whoever won took it all, and they went back and forth. And the camera guys got the best of the best action, but even Borsch and Walker said that they passed each other another half a dozen or a dozen times throughout that day, and they were just nose to tail the entire race, and it came down to the finish line. It was by far, in my opinion, the best race of all time. We got a couple of comments on that. Sunstar Chain and Sprocket says it was 2015 Powerline Park has to be one of the best videos on YouTube. That was a good race as well. David Hawkins says Bill Balance and Barry Hawk.
Yeah.
We know those two went at it for sure.
Those are going back.
That's going way back.
That's before. That's definitely before us.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, do we have a question that we're going to pick for the winner?
Oh man,
we can't pick that one. That was a good one, but Mason's not going to be too pumped if he wins his own Seal Savers.
I guess we have to give it to the guy that asked why we were coming back.
Yeah,
what keeps us coming back?
Yeah, 829 Walton, hit us up. You win the Seal Savers for the weekend. So we're happy to do that. Happy to get some Seal Savers out there. You guys got to make sure you check those out. I'm excited to see what you think of yours.
Mason is the one from Seal Savers.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm going to run those this weekend, and yeah, it's cool. I think it's anything like that. I mean, man, the suspension on an e-bike is insane. Like it's really expensive.
Oh yeah.
And some of the conditions that you race at a GNCC can do some damage on it. So that's cool.
Especially a soft race like you just did last week.
I can say from riding over the winter, I ran the Seal Savers all winter long, and my bike was a train wreck most of the time. And you could take those Seal Savers off the forks, and you could see your reflection in the stroke. So
I use them on my dirt bike all the time. Every race, they're on there. And every time I go to clean, I always check, just like, they're working perfect. You know what I mean? So, shout out to him, man. They're awesome over at Seal Savers.
Yep, absolutely. Jeff, we'll definitely see you Saturday for sure.
We got a lot of meet and greets.
We got a lot of meet and greets to do.
Man,
guys,
busy guy.
We are.
We'll be having t-shirts with us. We're kind of running low on the t-shirts. The new t-shirts are coming in soon though.
We'll have them probably
those the next race.
Yeah, for the Mason-Dixon.
We'll have them for the Mason-Dixon for sure. They'll be, if you didn't hear us at the beginning of the show, we're doing a co-sponsorship deal with Mountain State Hair Scrambles. So we're sponsoring that series now, and they will also be carrying our T-shirts in their booth. So excited about that. So if you guys don't want to go through us and get a T-shirt and throughout the hassle of shipping and handling and all that, just go to a Mountain State race and pick up one there. So for sure. But guys, make sure you get your get your fantasy team in this weekend.
Yes, big fantasy week.
Big fantasy weekend. We got major prizes. You guys can win an XC Gear Mako 360 for your dirt bike or your ATV. That's a random drawing right there. The overall winner for the dirt bikes, or the best team for the dirt bikes, is going to get a chain and sprocket kit from Sunstar, and the best ATV team will also get a Sunstar chain and sprocket kit. So it's going to be a good weekend for fantasy for sure. Before we go, let's just do a couple picks real quick. Who do you think's going to win?
Man. Which we want? We going quad first?
Let's go quads first.
Okay, quad first. Luke, you want to do the honors? You want me to go first? I'll go first. I'll go first.
Yeah,
You're
go
good.
for me.
You're good. I tell you what, Walker Fowler comes back swinging this week. 3 in a row. He's like, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. 4 in a row is not happening. We're not ready to do it yet. So Walker Fowler with Bryson Neal in second, and with a John Glotta Jr. in third.
I'm gonna go Bryson, man. I'd love to keep seeing him just swing in the Walker. I like Walker, but I like the guy that's taken the crown a little bit this year. So I'm gonna go Bryson.
Yeah. But it's hard to pick away from either one of those two. I'm not going to right now because I think until something major changes, because those guys are so far in front of everybody else at the moment. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I think guys like John Glotta Jr. and I think guys like Hunter Hart will get there this year, but just not right now. I think that I'm going to go Walker as well. I think Walker, this is Bryson Neal's house.
Well, it's both their houses.
It's both their houses.
They both call this their house.
As of lately, it has been all
last
Bryson
year,
Neal.
Fowler won.
Last year, Fowler won, but Bryson was also underneath of a Ford F-150.
You got to finish, man. That's part of the race.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. What about the dirt bikes?
Well, guess what, guys? We get a new winner. This week. We didn't think it was going to happen, but we get a new one. Yeah,
Ben Kelly Hill up though, man.
Dude, that's a bummer. I want you guys to highlight Trevor Bollinger. I think he ends up, I don't want to say stealing this championship, but he's going to steal it. I think Trevor Bollinger has been putting on a clinic here lately, and I'd be highlighting Trevor Bollinger. I'll say he gets to win this week.
So do you think that, so obviously you think that we're not only going to have a new winner for the season, but we're going to have a first-time winner?
Yes, I believe it. I'm a big fan of Jordan Ashburn. I've been pushing for him.
Woo! Oh,
wow!
The wind must be.
The wind picked up.
You know what it is? You start talking about these damn bikes.
Yeah, it's the bikes, man.
And people start just dying, man. God.
So, backstory, guys. I put that plywood up there so the sun wouldn't shine through.
And we opened the window because it's really, really hot in here. And yeah.
I saw your face. I thought a missile was coming.
I was like, oh no!
Holy
it's
crap!
The bikes. You can't even talk about.
We can't even talk about.
Mikey Waynes, if you're still watching, like we almost
watch your back, man.
Yeah, dude, don't talk about the bikes. That was wild.
I got to drive them.
So let's real quick get through this. What's your take, Luke?
I was going to say the same thing. Just looking back at his results so far this year. I mean, he started out with a 5th, a 5th, a 6th. And then it's just gotten better and better. You got a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 2nd. I mean, it might not be the most exciting pick, but that's what I was going to go with too. I mean, he's on paper, he's the natural next guy to take the win.
Yeah.
All right. So Brandon made a statement at the beginning of the season.
I did.
He made a statement. He said, I'm going to pick Jordan Ashburn until Jordan Ashburn wins a race. And as of the last 2 races, he's went away from that.
I have, because I always explain it's like that guy that keeps buying that jersey and the player keeps getting hurt. And I'm trying to take my bad juju as Luke looks over at the plywood.
I'm just watching your back.
I put it at a good lean angle there.
I'm trying to take that bad juju away from him.
I'm going to pick Jordan Ashburn, though. I think Jordan Ashburn is hungry, and I think that with the unfortunate news of Ben Kelly being out, I think that that really pushes a hunger up in for a lot of these guys to step up and like, okay, we can win. We can win this year. It's not a chase for second. It's a battle for the lead right now. So I'm going to take Ashburn. But I think Trevor Bollinger is there to battle him all day. And then I'm going to pick I'll pick Lane Michael, the West Virginia native, to finish third.
Is he?
He's back.
So, this is his first race back, right?
No, he
Second.
was
back last week.
He was back last week.
He
Okay.
ran in a podium position. We had him on the show last week, and he ran in a podium position for quite some time.
Yeah.
But ended up, as he said, kind of faded. His energy levels kind of faded towards the end of the race, and he ended up dropping back to 6th place position. But
Lane's an awesome dude. I'd love
really
to see
is.
him finish the year out strong.
Right,
yeah, he really is. He really is. So now that I'm thinking about it, no, I'm going to stick with Lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with Lane. I think that, he can get himself back in that race shape pretty quickly. And like we've always said, and he gets tired of hearing us say this, but the speed is there. The speed is not it. So look for him to be up there running strong throughout this week for sure.
Yeah. I can't believe we're already at 2 hours.
I was at like an hour, and I was like, man, I don't know how this shit's going to go.
It's easy to talk to you guys.
Yeah, it's like I had like a lot of stuff to get into. We don't even get to cover it. So,
well, Brandon has we're starting a new segment.
We're going to do
Do you have a?
I mean, I can throw it out there. I mean, do we have time?
Is it a money one?
What do you mean, like a money?
Yeah, is it about money?
It's kind of about money.
I like money. Let's talk about it.
All right.
Okay. It's the 10-second tantrum.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So my 10 oh my gosh.
10-second
I
tantrum.
need water. 10-second tantrum is so we're going to these tracks, and it's not just we're going to these different races, right? I was complaining that maybe we should start racing for money last time. We have thousands to quad guys have $10,000 or $15,000 in our quad. A dirt bike off the showroom floor is $12,000. We're not getting a kickback from it. And then we start going to races this year, and the way it's always been for me, and I've always understood it, was every 3 riders is a place, right, for a plaque, for an award.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to a lot of races this year. There's been 20 plus guys in the class. They're only paying back to 3rd place. It's like, wait a minute. I mean, I know like 5th place or 4th place isn't as great as that 3rd place, but dude, I busted my butt for a 5th place. You know what I mean? Like, at least I can have your $10 award or plaque or
GNCC is still every 3rd.
Yeah,
I know that but are they the same with the eMTBs?
Are we talking about plaques?
Yeah.
So it depends on the size of the class. I mean, I've seen them go back to 6th place.
Right.
So I mean, but my thing is, and I'm not talking like these events are small. Like I'm talking like you pull into these events, and it looks like a national.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's 120, 100 or 150 to almost 200 riders in one session.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or 25 to 30 guys in a class, and they're only paying back to like third place in awards. I'm like, come on, guys, you're making, like, I know what, like, it's easy to figure out what you're making, and you can't pay back a little bit more. Like, we sacrifice
plaque
time.
back a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean,
I'm with you. Like last week on the money situation,
yeah.
I do think that these guys, especially the pro guys that are doing it and trying to make a living, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier in the race. I don't think these guys should have to race 2-3 series and then try to go find money races to make their ends meet. I just think that's crazy, especially when these guys like Lane Michael, like top of the sport, like, he talked last week about, he would race a local sometimes if there's a good cash grab. Guys like that shouldn't have to. These are factory riders.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are quick to point the finger at, like, why isn't the promoter paying? And I mean, look, like, we can add up, how much per head you're paying to get in there. And yeah, is Racer Productions, MX Sports, are they making a lot of money? Yes. Man, their overhead, there's a ton that goes into that. My question would be, why aren't the OEMs paying way more? Because I can tell you what, man, GNCC woods racing is a much bigger sport than motocross.
Right.
Yeah.
And those moto guys, they say, well, that's what moves bikes. Well, okay, does it, or is it Ben Kelly? Is it Thad Duvall? Are those the guys that are selling Huskies and KTMs, or is it Marvin Muscan and Mookie?
Right.
I think it's more the guys in the woods. So I'm not saying they need to make more of the motocross and supercross guys, but it's marketing, dude.
Yeah.
So like, why can't more of that budget get put towards those guys that are out marketing the product, where they're going to go buy it at RG Motorsports or whatever it is?
Right.
A lot of this we have a old system of, and you see it across the sports board, and it's a lot of the TV marketing deal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, GNCC is a hard sell for like a live TV event on cable TV, because it's one of those races that is so hard to pinpoint exactly what time we're going to start, exactly what time we're going to finish.
If you're not into it, man, it's hard to watch.
Hard to follow,
If you're not into it.
And Racer TV and GNCC has done such a good job with the different camera angles, the drone footage. But like Mikey said, between those camera angles, there's a lot of mileage out there that we're not seeing the action until we can get one day. I expect there's going to be a day that we have a camera at every mile marker.
Oh, no doubt.
And
it's going to happen, and I can see it. I mean, I don't know what your guys' dads did on Sunday, but my dad was a big NASCAR fan. And we would come home from church, NASCAR would be on. When I'd be eating dinner, NASCAR would be finishing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like 5 hours of coverage.
Yeah.
And all you do is watch a car go around in circles and circles. I was boring. Like, I'd come in for the last 3 laps or something, like, oh, yeah, check this race out. But
people don't have that attention span anymore.
No, because everything's right here on your phone. And you're just, I mean, honestly, I ain't going to lie. When I watch, if I'm not at the race, GNCC, I pull it up. I'm like, okay. All right, they're in the lead, they're in the good, I watch a couple bit, and then I'm like, all right, I got to go do something. So I go do something, I come back later, and like, all right, checking it on the race,
Yeah. But in today's day and age, where like we talked about how the TV marketing is slowly becoming less and less of a factor, we're now able to stream and watch. We're able to watch live on YouTube the GNCC race. I mean, without all this technology, like you wouldn't have a show, we wouldn't have a show. And now we're able to have these shows and produce them ourselves. I think the world's changing in the fact that it's becoming more and more accessible to be entertained by GNCC. And I think that the OEMs really need to start taking recognition of that, and really maybe weighing a little bit less on the fact that everybody's buying a Yamaha because Eli Tomac switched to it.
Yeah, I think Eli Tomac sells far less Yamahas than people that look up to Lane or I mean, hell, Stu. Yeah, Stu. I mean, like the amount of people out of GNCC compared to the people that actually ride that go to. I mean, look, the people that ride that go to the Nationals are way more than the people that go to the Supercross races. But you're not going to go to a motocross track. There isn't one around here, but you're going to go to a GNCC. So I do think it's a little bit backwards. It's an interesting discussion. I mean, it's the same people that promote the Pro Motocross series that run GNCC. I'd be curious to get their input on it because, I mean, I'm sure they'd love to see the OEMs put more into those riders because it's going to only help the sport grow.
And then let's also take into account for that not only the GNCC, but look at every local series like the Mount Stead Hare Scramble, like New East Coast series, like the NEXC. Like these are series that are GNCC but downscaled into a local series, that you have a lot of racers that will race those series and never go race a GNCC series.
Right, yeah.
So if you add all the numbers up, like not just the GNCC, it's pretty incredible.
Well, I think a lot of times everybody watches, well, I don't want to say everybody, but I'd say 85% people watch Supercross and motocross, but race GNCC racing.
Yeah, for sure.
Or, I mean, I'm one of them. I don't get to go to a motocross track. If I do, it's got to be a practice day or maybe a one-off race or something. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of the fans, we love racing. You know what I mean? So we watch Tomac and we watch all that because it's blown up. It's on TV, like we said. But I keep preaching it, and I want to keep preaching it until Mikey and those guys listen to me. I really think like an onboard camera with somebody or the walkie-talkie or the walkie, you go to NASCAR, you put on a headset and you can hear what's going on with the race and the crew chiefs and all this. And I know everybody says, well, the riders wouldn't like that because if they take a wrong line or whatever. who cares? You shouldn't be taking that line anyways. You know what I mean? Don't cheat. You know, we're here to race, and we're here to race fair. And as a rider, you should be going, I want to make my sport bigger. I want to make it bigger. So let's do what we got to do to make it bigger. And that's the way I feel better right now.
No,
I agree.
I agree.
I think most of the professional woods athletes do a particularly poor job of promoting themselves in the sport. I mean, Jesse Ainsley's probably doing the best job of it. I mean, that's only going to help grow the sport, which it grows the sport. It gets them more money. Like
right.
there's a lot of things that could be done differently, but it's getting better. Stu's a personality. Obviously, I'd like to see people like Lane get on there. I'd like to see Ben Kelly, Caleb started to do stuff his last couple of years with his vlogs. Like there needs to be more of that to grow any sport. I hated Austin Faulkner until Austin Faulkner started putting out vlogs. And then I'm like, oh, this dude's actually
not bad.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. On the podium, he kind of seems like
if he just wouldn't open his mouth as much as he does, he'd be great. But his vlogs, he gives you a different perspective. It's the same thing with the Woods guys.
Right.
So.
No, I agree. You know, and Stu Baylor is at the forefront of talking to these guys how they need to be able to put themselves out there more and create more of a social media presence and come on shows like this more. Like, don't ghost the guys when they're trying to
right.
when they're trying to message you and get you on the show. Hey, Josh Merritt, what's up, man? We appreciate you doing this show. He asked what the big news was. We were talking about Ben Kelly and Stu Baylor and that big news, but
possible departure of Rodney Thomas at the end of the year. So.
Yeah, a lot of big things going on. Josh, good luck this week, and we're going to be at the John Penton, so we'll see you there for sure, man. So, Brandon,
is that it?
Luke, that's
pretty healthy.
I'm getting kind of tired. I almost got killed.
Yeah, that's almost as bad as before we went live and the chair broke on me. Remember?
I remember that. The bag chair breakdown show.
The bag chair broke down. Yes. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was like show five or something like that.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's fun.
Yeah, man.
I
Luke,
enjoy it.
It was good having you in, man. If you guys have never listened to Luke's podcast, he's on the Racer X broadcast. Awesome show, Moto Marketing.
And also, if you guys need any tips with your social media or anything like that, go hit him up on Instagram.
Yeah, sure.
Luke, if you want to throw out your Instagram handle or whatever.
Yeah, it's Luke Nesler. It's Nesler, 1S. I mainly just post about real estate and bikes, but what I do for the main part of my living is I run a digital ad agency, and we help brands that sell their products online, but we work with cycling brands, moto brands. Guts is a client of ours, FMF, Racer X. We do all the social media for the Pro Motocross Nationals, GNCC. If anybody has questions, I'm always happy to help. We need to get you guys on the podcast too. I'd love to have you guys on and just talk about, two dudes that I went to school with, at least one of you, and you guys are building something pretty cool. And we need to have a conversation with Racer X about maybe getting a woods racing show on there too. I think it'd be cool. So
that'd be
put
awesome.
in a good word for you.
That'd be really cool, man. We appreciate that. And like I said, when Mikey was on and you, like you two, both of you two particularly have been in our corners the entire time we've been producing this show. And
man, happy to do it.
We appreciate having guys like you helping us out, giving us some advice when we ask for it.
And Josh Merritt, because he was our first.
Josh Merritt.
He was our first one,
our
man.
First
guest.
pro guest.
That's awesome.
Like we may have, I don't remember, we may have lied to him, but like, we've been doing this for years, man.
No, we didn't do that.
We didn't. He knew he's getting himself into, and he was happy to come on the show. So, we were happy to talk to Josh, and we need to get him on soon again. Josh, I'm looking at you for this weekend for my fantasy team.
Okay. Yeah.
So we got
Luke. You need to play fantasy, man. You can win. You can win something.
I've been watching your guys' fantasy, league grow this year. I think it's cool. So I will, if I can jump on it week by week, I'll do it now. But if not, I'm going to get in from the beginning next.
Yeah, you can do it week by week.
We do weekly prizes.
That's cool.
Do you still have your dirt bike?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You can win a Sunstar Chance Sprockets. Last week we gave away the Gut seat cover. We're also doing a Mako 360 handlebar clamp this week. You don't even have to win. You just got to be in it.
Yeah, just Brandon hits his randomizer, and and a random guy wins
that's cool.
Sweet bar clamp.
It was like $400.
Yeah,
man.
those aren't cheap.
I know. We need to talk to Lance about getting like the winner should get like a split line logo, and because he does like this this etching,
engraving.
Engraving
cool
thing. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that'd be sick. But yeah, like dude, it's pretty cool. like we tell everybody, the fantasy thing, we've kind of try to keep it small, and each week it keeps getting bigger. And this guy over here, I got to give him props. He pretty much takes care of it all on the computer. But I don't have a computer to really help him out and all that good stuff.
We'll make that happen someday, though.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get another
I'm
computer.
Sure. I know.
we got to quit buying so many T-shirts.
We like the T-shirts, man.
Yeah, T-shirts. So, Brandon, give it to us.
Give it to us. Luke, when you open your garage, buddy, and you open and you see your dirt bike, I'm sure you want to see a Guts Racing seat cover on there. Guys, support these guys because this is what keeps this show going. Without them, we wouldn't have this studio. Still under construction. We're going to make it a little bit better each time. But anyways, go support Guts because it's the sickest seats there is.
Trick seats,
man. Greg's ultimate trick seats.
That's right.
I mean, when I see my Husky, man, I'm like, dude, it's a sick seat. Hey, I don't know what you guys.
They are the best,
they are, man.
Absolutely.
But Still Savers, Luke, hope you enjoy those. I enjoy mine.
Yep.
I know you have some on your mountain bike.
Yep, and the ATV.
Got
those coil savers.
Still Savers are awesome, dude. Every time I think about it, I always think of dollar signs. Anytime you can save money in this sport, it's crazy. Suspension isn't cheap. We all know that. As Luke was just saying, it's not cheap for a mountain bike either. It's not expensive. It's still expensive for a dirt bike or a quad. So what I always say is save some money. They're very affordable. They're even more affordable with a 25% off discount code with a split line capital S.
Capital S,
guys. With over there, you can save 25% off already affordable prices for Still Savers. Save your pegs, save your watch, save your hands. They got some hand savers. Do all that stuff. Sunstar chain and sprockets, they're the best of the business.
Case hardened steel,
man. Save 30% off there with the code Split Line 30, right?
Split Line 30.
There we
Easy.
go. I got to remember all these,
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's tough, especially at the end of the show. You're sweating.
I'm sweating. It's a hot box in here right now. No, but dude, they're awesome over there. Sunstar. I run their chains. They're the best chains. They last. Mine's been through sand, mud, dry, dust, everything, and it still looks awesome and works up to perfection. So go over there and support them. XC Gear, guys. If you guys are fighting fatigue, if you want a little smoother ride on your handlebars, don't want to fight arm pump, go check out Lance over there for your mountain bike, your full wheeler, your ATV, or your dirt bike. Hook him up over there. Awesome guy, awesome supporter. And also, once you guys get all that on your bike and you want to test it out and you want to go ride a fun, just a casual fun day, go hood up Mountain State Hare Scramble.
Technical track's going to make you a better rider.
Oh yeah. That's what they preach, and
they
it works.
They don't breed champions; they build them.
That's
I think
right.
I think that's what their slogan is.
Is that their
Something
slogan?
like that. Yeah.
Oh
wait, right there it is. We don't make winners; we help build them.
That's right.
That was not at all what I said.
I think you're watching the Kentucky Derby a little bit too much about breeding. Oh, shoot, guys, it's been a fun show.
It's been a fun show. Thank you to Ashley Hendershot. Thank you to Mikey Waynes coming on the show. Luke Nesler, thank you for coming in studio, man.
Thanks for having me,
It's
guys.
been a good show, episode 76. Thank you all your sponsors, guys. Play fantasy this weekend, win prizes. If you guys are at the John Penton, hit Brandon and I up. We'll have T-shirts, stickers. We'll be there, guys. We'll be probably vlogging on the Instagram the whole day. So
you better hit us up early because it's gonna be sounding like hotcakes.
Yeah, we don't have very many to sell either. So, all right, guys, Split Line out.
Peace.
But I don't close the door, waiting a chance. Oh, I will be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You make me feel amazing when I'm next to you. You make me feel so crazy, my heart breaks for you. Can't help but know that I'm still in love with you. You make me feel so.
where you can surf without getting fished. There's no place like Chrome.